Hmm? Who's giving Spark a good old pat? Wait, who's patting my pussy? God. Sorry, I know it's a bad pun. But it does crack me up from time to time. Ah, it was Jade. I see. Just give me a moment. I'm getting things set up and then I will do the thing for the reacting and stuff. Yeah. Well, I can't draw that on stream because that's a little bit too naughty. I've been working on something new. It's Tiny Toons Looniversity. Oh no, not Looniversity. Ah! Ba-da-da-da-da, gonna kick some fucking ass. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, do 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 do. Hey, oh, do 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 do. Hey, yeah. Oh, ba-ba-da.
Welcome. We've got everything to aid in your education. Large dormitory halls.
Looney Tunes Looniversity trailer. I see. Okay! And now I've got one more thing I've got to do before I can open up my thing. Currently in the lead, playing with 5 stars and 206 coins. Nice! Don't really know what that means because I still haven't played it, but still.
Come earn your
Nice.
Toon degree at Acme University. Acme Lou is responsible for shaping the greatest tune since 1933. You're welcome. We've got everything to aid in your education. Large dormitory halls. A great campus meal plan. A state-of-the-art toonie ball field.
Uh-oh.
And a library, probably. Major in topics that
Probably?
while studying under our esteemed faculty and alumni. Here at Acme Lu, we take our toon studies very seriously.
We've won every major academic award for tomfoolery.
Enroll at Acme University today and fulfill your potential. Get it?
Oh, that looks like a cute little fire person. Ooh. Wait a second, I'm gonna do a quick thing. Okay, I do have hearing. Good, I was worried for a second. The following was a special collaboration intended to play live Wrestle Kingdom 13 main event. Due to circumstances beyond my control, this will not air during the Wrestle Kingdom or on any official NJPW channels. Irregardless, Toby and I have all of you to thank for the video. Toby and I hope you all enjoy the video. Thank you. Kenny Omega. Ooh. Mm-hmm.
これやりたい。買って。ケニーで戦うんだ。
いいよ。棚橋の方が強いんじゃないの？
ケニーが一番強いんだよ。ケニーが勝つんだ。
No, Dad, Kenny's the best. Tina can't. Baba.
すいません。
Excuse me, sir. I'd like to get this one, please. Ah, well, if it ain't old Kenny Quest, you ain't a fan, are you? You bet. I love Kenny. This is a good one. Alrighty, have fun.
Goodbye.
And good night. Bang!
ただいま。よーし、やるぞ。
Let's do this. It's not all subtitled, is it? You finally made it, Kenny. Crawled here despite your injuries. While you were working tirelessly, the egotistical quest changed the world for wrestling has been selfishly taking up the spotlight, but your time is over, Kenny. Soon, I will usher in a new golden era for, and everyone, your allies, your fans, Ibushi, will see you for the weakling you really are. Now, did we come here to stand around, or are we going to fight? Mercy, you don't want to fight. What? You playing the hero? Don't make me laugh. I am the hero of this story. And for heels like you, there is no mercy. You think you're in so can hurt me? Let me show you true power. Oof. You think Ibushi would oppose his god for Thanksgiving? Face it, Kenny, there's no one left by your side anymore. Now goodbye and good night. Kenny was hurt and beaten. I lost that, right? Takeshi is better. It's not over yet, you know. Try yelling louder, dumbass. Maybe we gotta try something else. Come on, we need your help. It's not time for you to give up yet. Kenny remembered his supporters, Young Bucks, Cody, Barrow, Brandy, Marty, Paige, all of his fans, and Ibushi. Kenny felt their support, and Kenny overflowed with the determination of his friends. B-Trigger. He sucker punched him. Dark Ages, how can I lose to a weakling like you? Huh? What are you doing? You won't finish me off? Huh. Don't insult me. Stop messing around. Finish me like the heel you are. You're serious? Kenny, when will you stop your self-indulgent fantasies? This isn't a game. We all know how that is in reality. This world is kill or be killed. To be continued. First. Oh. That was relatively interesting, yes. Ooh, we got a video for me, do you, gamer?
We interrupt your regularly scheduled collaboration to bring you a word from our sponsor. This Christmas, join cousins Craig and Danny for a brand new adventure in Friday After Next. I mean Spice. Bear glove. Stop. Merry Christmas, baby!
You won. That's good. It didn't start at the beginning? Oh. Here we go. That is odd, but I fixed it. What is with the tiger's face? It looks so weird. Oh, Pyra, they gave Splinter An afro in the new movie? You're kidding me! That's kind of dumb. Well, if it's Jackie Chan playing him. True. I don't care as long as they don't screw up. True, but it's still kind of weird. How's Rosa looking? I think she's looking pretty hot. I actually quite like the smell of Old Spice. It is quite nice. Old Spice, try to the good luck.
Interview time. Today I'm going to Terry Crews. I do want to be an actor and all that. What's the origin story of the yogurt? Not a thing. I'm still waiting for my big deal. Who's been your favorite cameo on the show? I think I'm playing.
Look at all their muscles going, look at all their muscles go. Look at all the muscles go. Look at all the muscles go. Look at all the muscles go. All that you do. Never superpower. What? Okay.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled collaboration to bring you a word from our sponsor. This Christmas, join cousins Craig and Day for a brand new adventure in Friday After Next. I mean Spice. Stop.
Who, me?
That nutty.
Friday After Spice, available now on DVD and VHS in video stores.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Everybody. It's Old Spice Island. Isle of the Old Spice. He looks so short with those legs. Let's go! Rock me. Power in the can, yeah, power in the can. Bye bye.
I'd like to agree with you.
Big love. Welcome back. How'd it go? He's in a can, better let him out. It went good? I'm glad to hear it. Improve my face. Nope. Oh no, not the balls! Stinky blocky powder! It blocks all the stinky. Very powerful. Spice power. Spring, yeah.
While riding one of these and sweeping you away to it's you.
Whoever made this must really like Old Spice. Power body battle spell! Cover up the battle spell! That was fun. The power of Terry. One last commemoration. One powerful duo. Oh, it's the PO blocker. Ah, this song's almost like a full-on workout. Me just banging my head to it, which it kind of slaps for the kind of thing that it is. It really does. But oh my god, am I working up a sweat just getting into it? I'll blow your mind and I'll burn your face. Oh, you couldn't hear it? Oh no. I wish I knew that sooner. I would have been able to fix it up a bit. Is that a better volume? Is that a better volume? But yeah, that song kind of slapped. That's good? Good. As long as you can still hear me.
Welcome back to Retro Rebound. It's Morphin Time Retro Ranger. Did I make it?
Oh yeah, TMNT, do you like how Rose is looking?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we've got a smorgasbord of Power Rangers games to go over. And wait, what's this? Ooh, seasoning. That's right, Game Boy Advance cartridges, baby. Power Rangers. Let's talk about it, shall we? We
Pink players are in the D&D game.
Netflix special showing up, and I thought, hey, Power Rangers are near and dear to my heart growing up. The Burger King
my D&D
toys,
campaign,
I remember collecting all of those. I have a ton of action figures at home still from those days. But more importantly,
looking good there?
I really connected with the video games. And I connected with that Red Ranger exclusive episode. You remember the one where all the Red Rangers from all the different universes came together? It's available for free on YouTube. Even if you're not a big Power Ranger head, go check it out. It's awesome. Now, normally I'm a Green Ranger guy, but what the muscle costume speaks for itself. This thing's, ooh, I wish I had muscles like these. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Power Rangers is something that I love dearly, even with its corny B-tier nature. It's where mid thrives, truly, right? The explosions and how poor the acting is, where they go, oh, and they barely look like they're taking any damage. It's such a fun series to watch. I love the idea of these cyber cops running around. There's 1,000,001 different renditions of them. We're going over a ton of them today in celebration of that Netflix special. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here,
I saw a thing about the Netflix special. It's kind of meh.
Content, consider subscribing. Let's begin with the pièce de résistance. We really don't have necessarily any type of order we're going in the terms of release. I'm doing this a bit more haphazard because some Power Rangers eras I was into. As I grew older, I fell out of love with them. So we're just going in the order of what drew my attention as I was playing. Naturally, I'd like to call everyone to the front of the congregation to speak a bit about Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. Now, we have the PlayStation 1 version here. I grew up with the N64 version. Shout out to the black cartridge.
Alright, I had my fun. I gotta get going. Enjoy the rest of the stream. By the way, gamer,
I think it's so
that song slapped. It was a workout just bopping along to it. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, gamer. I hope you share more things more often.
Two-player action, huge monster battles, save innocent people from battlings, and cool power-ups. You'll see on the inside, look how raw that is, man. Come on, you can't help but love that. The disc art is beautiful. You got some Power Rangers action figures promos on the back. Unfortunately, the manual itself doesn't have any real color to it, but the illustrations within, like, look, that's so nice, bro. It's so
that is some nice illustrations.
It goes through the options, how to play. It's very simple, very straightforward. Hints for each of the levels in the game. And then, again, the action figure promo here in the back. This was the one I grew up with. I call it Civilian Savior the Game. Every single mission just revolves around as the back of the box. Put it right here.
Power Rangers did make it so that I could
batlings. I said
actually
earlier,
have toy guns and stuff. That was nice.
This game on the N64.
The fact that you played every one of those games scares you. Why is that? You like your retro games. It's not that scary.
I was truly deprived as a child, and I had absolutely no idea. Look at the difference. Hear the difference for yourself. The voice acting, the levels, the music. Like, Lightspeed Rescue, low-key, kinda has Final Fantasy music vibes. Is that extreme to say? I don't know, but the soundtrack in this game on PS1 is legitimately awesome. And it reminds me of what I've read online. I have yet to experience it with Mega Man Legends on PS1 versus Mega Man 64, where apparently the N64 just got the short end of the stick. I've heard the same for Spider-Man 64, even though I prefer.
Just wait till you guys see the other image I've been working on lately.
It's not Rescue, but that is my favorite era of Power Rangers. That's the one I grew up with.
I started it during the D&D game.
Look at it one more time. so
But until
cool.
she's got
Definitely
more
nostalgia talking.
clothing on,
We're
I
getting
can't
some
have
really
it
unique
on
designs
picture.
as we go deeper into it.
Because she's not
but,
wearing enough clothing.
that game I definitely spent the most time with as a child, as I ran around and rescued people. Low-key a looker. The environment and the character models look really good to this day. I was pleasantly surprised by it.
But yeah,
And-
she's
and by
currently
the way, the
too
theme,
naked for Twitch.
Power Rangers, light, speed, rescue. So peak, man. So good. Great times. And shout out to Burger
Nice.
King again for those great action figures. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Still got a lot to go through. Time Force. Now, we also have Time Force. Time Force. Sorry, that's the end of my singing, because these were the two that clicked with me the most. Time Force is awesome, okay? Before you had Marvel pulling up with the multiverse and everyone, I'm tired of the universes in every single property. They were doing it first. So the back of the box says,
No, not
time
really.
for Time Force. Join the Power Rangers as they embark on the most
Marvel was
incredible
doing it
battle ever.
in comic
Leap
books
forward
all
and
along.
backwards through time to fight evil wherever it occurs.
So is DC.
Only one question remains for you and the Power Rangers: where or when will you end up next? And they actually got the voices and the music from the show, which is really cool. That was a big selling point back then. If I can crack this open, there we go. Again, raw disc, you'll see promotions for Lightspeed Rescue. They were pumping these games out, man. Power Rangers in the early 2000s was a thing of beauty. And even you see THQ here. I'm so happy THQ came back around with THQ Nordic, because it's such a big part of my childhood. It feels like the Nickelodeon games, anything that had to do with my childhood, that brand, that logo was on the box. So it means a lot even seeing it here. Time Force, I think I have the Green Ranger action figure, but I love this one too. Again, raw art. So cool. For those who don't know anything about Time Force, the idea is it's this cyber police force from the future, and they, again, spoil all the levels here. Levels 1, 2, I think it goes up to 6. Yeah, 4, 5, and then 6. Coliseum of Frax. Oh, I'm sorry, 7, the final mutation, and then it's done. But there are these cyber cops that can actually time travel. And so they time travel in the most ridiculous way. They have this big machine that has a huge mech attached to it with a hammer that wheels around and slaps them into a
Been
new
trying to
dimension.
collect
It's so
the older
extra,
action figures.
but that's kind of what defines Power Rangers. It's
Yeah,
so
I gotta
B-tier
cut my
that
hands on a
it's
couple of
incredible.
them, but
Give it
yeah.
a chance. Like it's definitely in the campy area for sure, and for some I think they'd say it's so bad it's good, but that's kind of what we loved about it growing up. Even as a kid, I know I thought it wasn't super impressive, but I just loved the action, the energy, the heroism of it all. But want to see something funny? I've never seen this in all of my complete in box journey days. Look what it comes with here. Save 50 cents on Fruit of the Loom Time Force underwear. Look at that. You cut this out, you save 50 cents on briefs or underoos. That's incredible. I just, you know, these ads are so appreciated. We're even going back in time on underwear. But this game was especially cool, and even the Game Boy Advance version, because they just took you to different areas. So like in the Game Boy Advance version, it's weirdly a good 3D platformer with these cool settings. Like I was running around the Wild West at one point, helped stopping a bank robbery. That is awesome. And then this game just takes it and puts it in 3D with more environments to explore, with more detail, more of a beat 'em up nature to it. The difference, however, and why I kind of prefer the Game Boy Advance version, which by the way, you can see I got it at PAX East. This cost me $10. A little expensive for just the cartridge, but it's okay. Well, you know, I was thinking of content while I was out there. But when it comes to the Game Boy Advance version, I prefer it over this version, is because actually there's a timer on the PS1 version, which makes sense for Time Force, but I don't work well under those conditions. So running into a boss fight and having a minute to beat it because I was trying to find some collectibles in the level, I don't like that feeling of being rushed, especially when we see how few levels there are in the game. What is the rush after all? So Time Force is great, a really strong era of Power Rangers for sure. And now we're gonna get into a weird territory where we're just gonna hop around now. I want to talk to you all about this one. Power Rangers Super Legends 15th anniversary. It says Play as the greatest Power Rangers of all time. Choose from 20 different Power Rangers to defeat evil forces with an over-the-top combat system, dual enemies in monumental Zord battles, and join forces to
I was so stoked when I was little, and I had a pair of
cel-shaded art style.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
knickers. For those of you who like
pair of panties
I believe this
that were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It does.
And
check that out. Very
I had a friend
for a PS1 manual here.
I made a friend because she also had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles panties, and I saw it underneath the toilet stall at school. It was just like, hey, I had those too, look!
That's your complete box copy.
And we became friends.
Power Rangers Super. This one has definitely aged the best. You may have recognized with the first games I started off with Power Rangers.
Of all ways to make friends.
Kind of mid-series in a lot of ways, and because of the low-budget TV show, it'd be kind of weird if it had a very
ended up getting told not to be friends with her anymore by my parents.
That may actually be pushing the limit in some ways that I really like.
Because her parents tried to swing with mine.
Super Legends was awesome because it's this 2D beat 'em up, cel-shaded style game,
looking
which of
through
course
at you?
is going to age phenomenally well.
I don't know.
The levels are really long.
And I was the one that looked under the
but what's cool about this game is that
barricade, not her.
Combat system. So you can hit enemies up into the air, chain attack them. You
I was the creepy one.
There's a lot of versatility.
I wanted to know if I was in the bathroom alone and getting down on the ground and looking under the door. That was my way of doing it.
One of the best aging Power Rangers games. I love that it focuses on being a beat 'em up because it reminds me of the Power Rangers games on the SNES and Genesis, I believe it was, where it was pretty much Turtles in Times, but Power Rangers, and that was one of my personal favorites. So shout out to that game. But this feels like a spiritual successor to that in a lot of ways. Just the problem is 2D side scrollers, they need to be quick in my opinion. If you're just going to be a beat 'em up, I need to be
I thought maybe the door was stuck.
Levels in Super Legends can be pretty long, and they're
I was
not
getting
really
ready to crawl under it.
You're just moving left to right. Very few pockets to find new things in, so it feels very confined. And
yeah,
so
the toilet's in that toilet
and
paper.
The combat system can get a little too familiar at times where you're not really enjoying yourself in the deeper hours of the game. But still, a cool one to be able to play as all the different Rangers. I appreciate that collaboration. It's definitely when I think the series is at its strength because there's so many renditions of Power Rangers. Speaking of another rendition,
yeah, I was the creepy one.
Dino Thunder. You know, I bought this game years ago thinking, what if one day we do make a Power Rangers video? And I have it in a stack of games. I was just thinking, well, maybe I'll just give this one away. It's just sitting there. And then they announced the show, and I went, thank goodness I didn't give it away yet. The back says, harness the power of the Dino Zords. Over 50 different missions in 9 different worlds with 18 different Zords to control. A lot of this is about, we'll call it vehicular control rather than being the Ranger themselves. So you'll see here, this is definitely our thickest manual, and great news for the thick manual. It is in fact illustrated, which I was pleased to see here. We see each of the different members of Dino Thunder game was amazing. Huge backstory here, which I always appreciate.
That's good.
I just love the effort they go to because all the Power Rangers, there's really not a whack-looking crew as far as I'm concerned. They all have their own energy and aura, and I love that they spend time here breaking down the height, the length, the weight of all these different Zords. Really, really cool. I also love the name Dino Zord. I think that's awesome. But you'll see here they go through power-ups and whatnot. And yeah, it's saving, loading, and that's pretty much it. Let's see. Finding Nemo, that's the promoted game here. We love to see that. What else do we got? Oh, that looks like it's it. So, oh, that's interesting. Arm extending Battle Zord, or Battle...
So what do you think of my
Arm
thing
extender?
about
That's crazy.
Pink's character, Rosa, from my D&D game? She
Dino
looking
Thunder
good?
is pretty interesting. It reminds me a lot of when I played Star Wars Clone Wars on my Xbox One.
Oh, your third
It's
specifically.
that moment
Nice.
of, I like Star Wars because of the
Don't talk about Nemo again.
Y'all have me in
Looks great.
You're cool.
Yay!
What is this? And that's
Thank
what
you.
Dino
I'm
Thunder
really
is.
glad to hear
You
that.
play as the Power Ranger, so to say. You play as their Zords. So in the terms of the entire series, as you'll see, everything we go through, it is very different, and I appreciate that. But as a standalone game, I want to be able to play as the Power Rangers. Like, these are the people I'm here for, but they really focus in on the Dino Zords. What it does give it, again, compared to the rest of the series, is really unique gameplay, and I get it. When you're pumping out so many different Power Ranger games, you probably want to do something different for once. Like, oh, there's another 2D beat 'em up. Okay, let's do something new here. And so you're going to see that a lot, like moments where they just randomly throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. So this one, you'll gradually unlock all of the Zords, and they all have their own different characteristics, like the Tricerazord can't jump. so you have to swap to a different one to be able to jump, and one can fly so they can reach higher areas. Once you get them all, it's actually got some great gameplay. There's a lot of balance, a lot of diversity in the missions.
Don't like playing as the Zords?
You can run around and step on cars with civilians in them. They're like, watch out, you're being irresponsible. But why is it my problem? Find a new place to drive your car. I'm the Zord, okay? So to get out of the way. These Megazords mean business. But Dino Thunder is cool, is different, very vehicle focused though, which I just
I don't really like mechas personally.
Player reference.
Like, even in my anime, I don't go for mecha anime. The Zords was always the dumb part, in my opinion, of
by not using my guns and being boots on the ground. Like, anyone can get in a vehicle and shoot a tank into a building and, oh, look, I got 4 kills. But only the truly skilled can get boots on the ground and get 4 kills with their gun and be tactical. So, to me, vehicles in games have always just felt cheap to use. I know, weird quirk, but it's just how I've always rocked the games. And I don't know if any of y'all relate to it. Let me know if you do down below, because I'm curious I'm alone on that. But I've just never vibed with games built solely around vehicles. So that's where I stand on Dino Thunder. We've got...
They got you into Gundams? Yeah. Well, some people that got into Gundams, others that scared it away. And, yeah, unless it's Kira Mukuro, I don't like Gundam.
DS exclusive one, 3DS exclusive one. These games are just siphoned out to different consoles at different times and don't get much support at all. So collecting Power Rangers games is kind of tough.
That makes sense.
When I was doing my research, I'm like,
I just wasn't a fan.
So, like I said, we have here Power Rangers Samurai, and it says here, go Samurai, play with friends, be your favorite Samurai Power Ranger, unlockable feature and power-ups.
You hated the Samurai Megaforce? Okay.
Here we have the inside.
Well, it's not for everyone.
I love the Wii because it's so soft to just, look at the disc. Look how soft that is. It's beautiful. This one comes from Bandai, which is pretty neat. And here we got the manual, which unfortunately no color to it at all. But it goes through, again, all the different things that you'll see throughout the game, the gameplay icons, because this is a motion capture based game, and then immediately we go to the back
motion capture based?
The warnings and whatnot for all the different languages. But yeah, like I said,
I've never seen a game that did mocap
game
well.
As you would expect with the Wii. Definitely makes sense for the type of Power Rangers, right? So you're going to be slashing away, and it's a good time for sure. It's 2D. It's again got that nicely aged art style, which I personally did appreciate. But with Samurai, you know, I just feel like it felt inherently limited because I couldn't just use a controller when I wanted to. Like, I, for example, really enjoyed Twilight Princess because I could get active and involved and swing around my Wiimote if I wanted to slash my sword as Link. But if I wanted to just chill, click, your boy could do that. So I didn't feel that kind of release when I was playing Power Rangers Samurai. But I digress. Solid time. Here's the one that really impressed me. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid Super Edition. So if you're going to get any Power Rangers game, let it be this one, because this is definitely, I think, the high budget one with cool cross collaboration, and the Super Edition,
there was season with Super Samurai.
Includes Street Fighter's Ryu and Chun-Li as playable characters. You'll see here full game plus 4 DLC packs, and we love that. This is preservation, because guess what? All of that right here on this disc. And I love that they did that. What can be confusing, though, is if you buy Battle for the Grid, there's Battle for the Grid Collector's Edition, and then there's Super Edition. This is the definitive version with all the DLC on disc. If you're going to pick it up, let it be this one. And they have done a phenomenal job supporting this game over the years, so I respect the re-releases. I respect the preservation of their games. It says on the back, it's Morphin Time with real-time tag team action, summon Megazords, and full cross-platform play. Now, I'll warn you now, if you're a trophy or achievement hunter, don't bother. One of the worst platinum trophy lists I have ever seen. Just some absolutely absurd demands from the player base, like playing 1,000 ranked matches, winning 500 ranked matches. Just
that's nuts.
Insane participation required. That would put these trophies in the 0.1%, so hardly anyone's unlocking them. The platinum itself is at 0.1%. It's ridiculous. What this game does have, though, is what they added later is a story mode. It is voice acted for the most part. There are parts where it's more visual novel-esque. It's 3 short acts. And the AI in this game is tough. You're going to see me getting absolutely walloped in certain points in this gameplay. Yeah, really tough at times, especially as a newcomer. Super Edition does not mess around at all, so make sure to do your tutorial before hopping in. But this game reminds me a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom with the tag action, the kind of snappy animations. There's a good flow. Shout out to the Yellow Ranger. I think it was the Samurai Yellow Ranger. She feels great to play as, but I love what this game does is it pulls in Time Force Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It pulls in
yeah, sure, I believe that.
One fighting game roster.
It looks so not Street Fighter-y at all.
It's got a lot of competitive attention, and maybe that's why. The story is short. There is an arcade mode where I also got waxed in, and like, yeah, you can even do a Chun-Li story mode. I just think it's awesome that that type of stuff is there. It's mostly an online focused game though, which is probably why it didn't pick up a ton of attention, but it's very popular in the competitive fighting game community. Otherwise though, great fighting game, great flow, cool stages by the way, cool backdrops with a lot of throwbacks to them. Just a lot of love packed into this, and compared to everything else I played in this stack, it doesn't just feel solely driven by nostalgia. It goes, yeah, we're a good game too that anyone could hop into and have fun with. So I hope this is a sign of what's to come for Power Rangers games. Not all of them being fighting games, but just a sign that we can do more with this and actually make great games. And I'd love to see a more third-person action adventure, maybe Uncharted style game would be so cool for the Power Rangers. But that's one definitely if you're looking at any. Number one, easily accessible, but number two, definitely the best of this pile. Now to get to the handheld stuff, we've got Ninja Storm here. What an interesting name that is. Get it? Like Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm. So the Ninja Storm era was really cool. And this one is the only game they got. Yeah, I kind of get why. Hilariously easy 2D beat 'em up. I mean, awe-inspiringly easy. I picked up a gun and I'm just going left, right, firing away, left, right, not really moving at all. Super easy game with endless spawning monster closets. So not only is it a cakewalk, but it's just very confusing at times how you make progress. And it will just constantly throw enemies at you. Where there was a point I was just standing against the wall, firing away. What do I do? What do I do? Nothing. Okay, I'm just gonna keep firing away. And that, like, it's just kind of...
That's a big difference in fighting games, really saying everything is Street Fighter because it has a Street Fighter character in it. It doesn't make it Street Fighter. That is true. That is very true.
I just feel like no one really took advantage of that. And so this is just a one-plane 2D simple monster closet beat 'em up game, and not my favorite.
You're right there, Mattis. I agree.
Next, we have Wild Force. Wild Force dares to switch up the formula. I really actually enjoyed my time with this one. So you'll see as we get deeper into the Game Boy Advance library that there's a lot of 2D beat 'em ups. We showed you Time Force earlier. We showed you what was happening with Ninja Force. Wild Force dares to buck the trend, which is what I was talking about earlier with Dino Thunder. It just wanted to do something different. So what we have here with Wild Force is an overhead beat 'em up where you pick your ally rangers and the bumpers kind of define ally moves. So you can like run around like a bull and knock someone over with the red ranger. You can pile drive someone with the yellow ranger. The combat in this game is fun and fluid and easy. It auto targets off.
Hi Ears, how you doing? I come in and see Miss Bird stuck in absolute bliss.
I couldn't find it, but ladies,
yeah, I'm drawing today. I'm drawing another character from my D&D party.
That made
this is Rosa. These are her wings.
So much.
Doing great. How about you? I'm doing pretty good, actually.
Game Boy Color. So my childhood conflict and tragedy does collide a bit with the ease of these games.
What you been up to today?
Easy. Is that a problem, though, after all of my suffering? I feel like I've earned it, quite frankly. So Wild Force, again, overhead beat 'em up, team attacks. The Megazord battles are kind of underwhelming because the action is good, the art in the background looks great, there's a sense of scale, and then they throw in QTEs, and you go, what are you doing? What's good? Why? But this was that era. You gotta respect it. That was the time where we were getting a lot of QTEs. I loved the
episodes where the past Rangers came to help the new ones.
That was a time period
really?
You gotta understand and respect it.
Okay.
And you will will do massive damage if you succeed on any of these QTEs. Next one I want to point out here, last Game Boy Advance game, Power Rangers SPD. This one is really cool because the sprite art is clean. I mean, when I'm watching the Red Ranger chain together combos and I'm watching the yellow go
been
up,
playing some Bell and working on my marathon
in all
stuff in the
this
background.
smooth
That's
frame
fair.
as he's chaining together.
What about
4
you?
hits.
What have you been up to
Look,
today?
say
Well,
what you
I
will
started
about
off
the game
by
itself,
doing
the
some
sprite art
playing some
here
Darkest
is
Dungeon with
very
Koji
impressive.
until he
It's
had to go.
smooth, it's buttery,
And then I switched
combos
over
just
to
string together
to doing
with ease
reactions and art.
Typically, I think of
I do art and reactions at the same time because I'm paranoid that people will get bored.
snappy sprite art animations that
So,
just
yeah.
don't look refined. But SPD, they really took some time. You could tell because there's character art for cutscenes, and it's not heavily pixelated to the point where you're squinting
yeah,
trying to make out what
that's
you're
why I
looking
do
at.
the reactions
There are
as well.
character portraits for dialogue. There was a lot of time spent on the art with this game, and I naturally, as a
What I
pixel
should
art
do
lover,
with
really
that
appreciate that kind of stuff. But also, I like that each ranger has their own ability in the levels. So, like the Red
Make
Ranger
it
can
line
run
up
through
with that.
objects. I thought
That
that
way
type of
it's
stuff was
neater.
really neat to see. It gives them each
Yeah, that's
personality.
better.
So
Now
really, out of
the picture
Game
window
Boy Advance
lines
portion,
up
this
with
is
the
another
chat.
one that I really enjoyed.
I think
my
that looks
time with.
better.
SPD was a good time, especially because it solves the problem I was having with Super Legends, where the game was going left to right a ton of the time, but SPD was moving quick enough, introducing things quick enough, and moving me to new levels quick enough where I didn't mind that left to right nature of it. So that is the batch of games for Power Rangers -1, which is Power Rangers Mega Force, only on the 3DS. You'll see here on the inside, it came with this trading card, which I thought was interesting. You know, the life of a collector is hilarious. Do I know what it does? No. Did I want it? Yes, absolutely. Got your Club Nintendo stuff here. We've got the manual. Cracking it open, you'll see that, yeah, it's one of those 3DS manuals. It's the painful one. It's the limited warranty, the health warnings, the notes section that no one uses, and that's it. So why it's a manual, I literally don't know, but it is, and it comes with some cool goodies. The back here says, unlock your inner Mega Force. Vocal support from Power Rangers will guide you through challenging situations. Morph into your favorite Mega Force and scan official trading cards to unlock power-ups. So there was like a meta game to it all. Very interesting, very confined, very limited. And you want to know how tired I was when I ordered this game? I got 2.
Oh no!
Does this one come with a card? It doesn't. That's hilarious, but I don't know.
least you got
That's
the
the
card
first
of one
time in
of them.
Retro Rebound history that I have made that error. But Mega Force was definitely one of those weird one-off, oh, they just had to make a game to capitalize on the Mega Force hype that was going on for it at the time. Because you'll notice, like, again, these were very much siloed off, these Game Boy Advance games. Why were they? Because it was the time period, right? So, oh, people are into SPD. Just poop out a game real quick. Oh, they're into Wild Force. Oh, yeah, just throw that out there. That's what they would do. That was their mantra. That was the THQ approach. Oh, people are big on SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, Creature of the Krusty Krab. Oh, they're big on Jimmy Neutron, Jet Fusion. They just were on it, man. Like, so that was the THQ way. It's why they were a big part of my childhood. They worked quick, man, and they had a lot of good stuff. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is all of the Power Rangers video games. My oh my, do we have many, plus some duplicates here. So I hope you enjoyed this retrospective. Did you spend a lot of time with the Power Rangers games? Let me know down below. Looking forward to seeing your thoughts. With that, take excellent care of
I
yourself,
don't
and I
think
will
Samurai's
see you
top 3
in the next Retro Rebound.
worse.
Out.
I think takes that spot. Samurai had some decent moments. Fair enough, fair enough.
Honestly, when I first came to AEW, I thought we actually had certain things in common. Is that it? Is that all you have to offer, Canada?
But we can disagree. Yes, that is true.
Wow!
But with your actions over the last couple of weeks, I can see that I was very wrong.
Taya Valkyrie plants Layla Gray! What changed? Finish the move!
This move has been used for decades by literal living legends, and by myself, for years. You don't get to decide who gets to do what, when, or if anybody owns anything. That's not how it works. Show a little respect. Jake. I can speak for myself. I don't need a little mark to do it for me. And honestly, you went from being that bitch to just a little bitch.
Jade Cargill, you've asked for this time, so the floor is yours.
Lacey, not today. Mark, please take the floor.
She's very busy. I'll take care of this. We saw on Dynamite this week, it was announced Jade Cargill finally versus Taya Valkyrie next week for the TBS Championship. We're going to finally get rid of Taya Valkyrie for once and for all.
Finally.
But there's a big win for the hashtag Jade brand this week because in the contract, we put some great wording in. Okay, I know I've said this before, but she cannot, Taya Valkyrie cannot use the Jaded in this match.
She better not.
Or the Road to Valhalla, whatever she wants to call it. And if she does, she will be disqualified.
And on Wednesday at Dynamite, I'm gonna show you that move or no move, this is the new era. La era de la güera. For your new TBS champion.
Orange Cassidy, an unprecedented streak and an unprecedented run as the AEW International Champion.
Just as a heads
there
up,
may be
I'm
nobody
not
hotter in
taking
AEW right now.
Gotta give it to the champions. Give it all they've got.
That is true. But every fandom has to remember that not everyone agrees with them. Everyone has different tastes, and to deny that is just stupid.
Bandito has held championships around the world, but is looking for his first in AEW. Will he be the next AEW International Champion, or will Orange Cassidy record his 20th defense of the title?
I wonder.
Hey Blade, hey Kip. I was eating a sandwich earlier, a little crumb fell off on my shoulder. Told me a little secret that there's a new super tag team in AEW.
What makes them a super tag team instead of just a tag team?
Ken Omega! You want to walk around here and consider yourself a couple of tough guys? You gotta get through some real tough guys first, because we are the Midnight Riders! We are the Butcher and the Blade! And we
are the Youth Foundation! We are the Rough Riders!
What is... Jericho's not looking too happy. Jericho, I mean, obviously...
He wears short shorts!
You made him look like a piece of trash.
With his long, long hair and his tiny white skin.
See it? I mean, that was real smart by Swerve. I hope you didn't plan on a lengthy celebration. Well, Adam Cole, little tit for tat with Chris Jericho.
I'll tit your tat.
Britt Baker, the lockjaw, locked in, and the tap out.
For anybody who's followed my career, they know how much I studied and idolized you.
I really want to say from the bottom of my heart that I have absolutely zero respect for you.
Adam Cole has heard enough. He knew this would happen. Britt Baker, yeah, she's seen enough too. Oh,
Jericho's a genius, guys.
Assault and battery on Adam Cole.
And they're making Britt watch.
How evil is Chris Jericho?
Oh my God, Britt.
I don't know about evil, but it's definitely a bitch.
I promise, I am so sorry. Damn it, this is my fault. I'm so sorry. You're gonna be okay, alright? I promise. Hang in there, okay?
No, I will not hang in there. You are a bitch. Okay, whose video is next? Which video is next? I caught up with you guys. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I thought someone might have something. But I'm gonna put one on first. Because that's just my prerogative. Oh hey, it's Attitude. Yeah, it is. I react with stuff fairly often lately. But
that will forever be remembered for all of the...
To add this one into it. And I'll switch it over and then we'll watch this. There we go. Now I got something in the thing.
The Wii U and 3DS
haven't seen this
combo
stuff
was
in a
such
long
a special
time.
generation for Nintendo. Sure, sales-wise, they both fell short of their previous iterations. I almost forgot the 3DS only sold like half of the original DS. That's crazy. I thought it did way better, but nope. And some of their business decisions at the time, not so great either. Remember the Nintendo Creator Program? I try not to. But the amount of quality software on both, especially first party, was top-notch, for the most part. I think we've all come to accept that. The menus had so much charm to them. Amiibo were popping off like crazy. Remember that one guy who like hate bought every single Rosalina amiibo just for a funny little post online? What the hell was that all about? The directs during this time were just oozing with, they were oozing with something, all right. Some illegal substance, I'm sure. The Switch is undoubtedly more successful in every single way, but if you were a Nintendo fan from 2011 to 2016, you certainly have a lot to tell your therapist, I'm sure. The charm of this era of Nintendo isn't some crazy hot take, you know, we've all come to accept it. Especially with the eShops now closed, dude, that nostalgia cycle is in full effect. People are finding their childhood 3DSs in their closet, they're playing a bunch of classics as well as finding hidden gems, always a fan of that. But then the resale market, that too, oh god, these prices. At least I have you. I'll never let you go. Until you're like $10,000 on eBay, then yeah, then you're gone. Man, like, the prices of some of these games going forward is gonna be absolutely insane. If you don't have a physical collection by now and you want one in the future, oh man, I pity your wallet. You have a crazy uphill battle that you're going towards now. If you go for it, sure, but I wouldn't really recommend it. I think your money is probably better off spent somewhere else, like,
Probably.
Oh, with the sponsor.
Hi Sarah, how you doing?
Hi. You like
Having
that?
a good day, I hope.
That was pretty smooth. It's ad read time.
I have that
If you ever found yourself interested in importing some good old video games, then you may notice that some of the prices for these games are a little bit outlandish. There just has to be a cheaper way. Well, Bai is the solution for you. This is a big ol' aggregate of different websites where you can import Japanese goods. Websites like Mercari, Rakuten, Amazon Japan, Yahoo Japan, both the shopping and auction edition. All of that can be found on one place on the Bai website to make this a great one-stop shop for all your imports. All you do is you settle on the item that you want, you order it, and Bai will buy the items for you, and then they will prepare it for international shipping, no matter where in the world you're located. And what, are you worried that your Japanese game won't play on your American console? There are ways around this, you already know. Look at this kid. You know you want to buy this. There's such a charm to importing video games, especially retro ones, and Bai is making it incredibly easy to get started. If you click the link in the description below and create a brand new account, you will get a 2,000 yen coupon on your very first purchase. That is a crazy value that is free money that you get to play with just like that. Like I said before, this is definitely a better way to spend your money. So thank you to Bai for sponsoring today's video, and now, back to things that weren't a great way to spend your money. Going through the eShops one final time for both the 3DS and Wii U really brought back some nostalgic memories. I used to frequent these shops so much while these consoles were active. I mean, they both had actual theme songs for the shopping experience. I couldn't help myself. It's a lot more welcoming than... Hooray, capitalism, yahoo, let's go. The 3DS was such a haven for indies and virtual console games, I never wanted to miss anything when they were dropping. Every single game had a unique banner with some screenshots, sometimes a trailer if you were lucky, and hey, maybe you'd find a classic gem that you missed out on from generations gone by. Like this one here, Lufia the Legend Returns. Let's see here, every game has 3 screenshots to try and sell the game. Let's see what we got here. She's alright, she just inhaled too much smoke. Oh, finally, the perfect game for me. Plus, it's thanks to this console that I got to watch Dinosaur Office, and that was pretty peak, let's be real. Dinosaur Office! Brah! The Wii U, by comparison, obviously had a much smaller library, but I would argue that this eShop was a lot more fun to explore, and made it all that much better whenever something good did show up. Listen, okay, in no universe is Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tipping Stars a super exciting release, but there was nothing else around it at the time, and hey, look at that. It has graphics, I'll buy it, sure. There was also this one time for E3 where Nintendo released a bunch of demos for indie games that were released at the time. Like, no big deal in retrospect, but this is how I first played Freedom Planet all those years ago, so I'll always be nostalgic for that. That was a pretty cool program. I'm pretty sure that a lot less heavy-hitter proper Wii U games is what pushed Nintendo to keep doing the Virtual Console on that system for a little while longer, but hey man, seeing GBA, DS, and even Wii games on there was pretty damn cool. Dude, they got Pocky and Rocky with Becky on this? Dude, man, us Wii U fans were really starving, okay? Man, you remember how, like, you could search for 3DS games on the Wii U eShop but not purchase them?
No.
What the hell was this company
I never
doing?
got to have one.
Remember how stupid Wii Sports Club was handled? Sure, nowadays with a physical copy, it is very easy to get a full complete game out of this, and when you do, you got a somewhat decent HD remaster of the original Wii Sports. It's fine. Whatever. It's a dumb call after Wii Sports Resort expanded on that idea greatly, and it was actually a great minigame collection instead of just a bare bones 5 minigame sport pack, but hey, whatever, it is what it is, I'm not mad about it. Club included online play. Not like you'd really know about it because who was playing Wii Sports Club in the 2010s online, but hey, it was there. The thing is though, when the game first dropped, there was no physical edition and only 2 of the sports were available digitally and individually. They would cost you about $10 each for a single pass that you can access the game whenever you want going forward, but you could also like rent the game for a day for $2. Huh? It really took a disgusting amount of time for Nintendo to figure out this whole digital distribution thing, and it's a shame that a Wii Sports sequel was essentially sacrificed along the way. Good to know Nintendo has since learned their lesson and wouldn't do anything stupid like this again. Oh, damn it. Now I could sit here and do the whole, these are the hidden gems that you should have picked up when you had the chance. I could have done that whole thing, but you've seen that a bunch by now. I'm not gonna do that. If you know me at all, you know that I am way more interested in the games that Nintendo even dared to allow on their eShops in the first place, because, oh man. Listen, first and foremost, not to belittle the difficulties of game development. I'm not trying to make that whole thing seem like a big old joke, and if any developers out there are watching this, I'm sorry to put you on blast, but you know some of this, you kind of did it to yourself. Besides, it's not like I'm affecting sales anyway. Yell at Nintendo for closing the eShops, not me. I'm not affecting nothing. You can't buy these games now anyway. And also, let's continue to be real. These games aren't really gone if you try hard enough. Listen, it's surprisingly easy to mod a Nintendo 3DS, that's all I'm saying. The act of supporting games that are readily available by purchasing them is something I am totally in favor of. I was doing it all the time, I continue to do so. It's my favorite way to support the developers putting out games that I want to play. But that being said, PDI check was $100. What the f? Oh, come on, that's not even the right console. PDI check in collaboration with the Alaska Children's Eye and Strabismus. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Strabismus. This is the title screen. Okay, I thought like the graphics were still loading here, but nope, this is it. Start. Click the one that's different, I guess. Success, okay. What? Okay, maybe I just have to do a different challenge. Okay, the test wins. I genuinely can't tell what the difference is here. Try again. What am I supposed to do? Which color is different? You know what? I think Alaska wins. I'm not gonna succeed Alaska's test, I'm sorry. Eventually, I just had to keep clicking on random things so I could succeed on all of the tests and see what's happening at the end. And hey, look at that, nothing. $100? I'm not saying that video game software can double as a genuine tool. I am a big fan of Brain Age, and the DS in general had loads of software like this, so as a tool meant for a doctor's office to provide something for multiple children to use, $100 theoretically is more than a reasonable price. But why is this on the 3DS eShop for personal use? None of you out there bought it. Unless you have a weird morbid curiosity and $100 to spare, you did not buy this, and if you did, you are lying. I don't trust you. My guy, over there at PDI Check, you have a website. This could have been handled with basic HTML. Maybe you should have tried again when you had the chance. This is a sin. The 3DS was this odd stretch of time where industry analysts, who always know what they're talking about, kept claiming that the rise of mobile gaming was going to be killing the entire dedicated handheld gaming space. And I mean, over 10 years on, they weren't entirely wrong, but still, for the few years that Nintendo tried proving them wrong with their top-tier retail games, they certainly put out some questionable digital ones at the same time. I got it. I got the perfect solution to fix declining sales. Nintendo says, filled with excitement and joy, Kersploosh.
What?
It's called Kersploosh.
Kersploosh.
I can understand it.
In Kersploosh, you are a rock and you fall down a hole. That's it. Oh, sorry, you're not always a rock. Sometimes you're a bouncy ball. Sometimes you're a Matryoshka doll. Sometimes you're a water drop. Don't be the water drop. They all play slightly differently, with different handling and health amounts, and it's all about getting to the bottom of the well as fast as you can.
Why?
And it's a completely dreadful experience. It is so hard to see where you're going, and then they start throwing in these fake donuts made of metal while encouraging you to go through the real donuts. Just pray to God you actually don't bounce off of them. Did they pick donuts because they were just so quirky and funny? Haha. It's so quirky and original. 20 minutes later and I did all the stupid stages and I'm done. Cool. This got a spot in a Nintendo Direct. Man,
Christmas sounded like
times are different.
Sounded really dirty.
Though, unlike PDI
yeah, it did.
that one was pretty cheap.
It sounded really dirty.
I guess. But for the most part, any of the cheap games that you found on the eShop really felt like a lot of low-quality garbage that you would see on phones nowadays. Azure Snake. It's Snake. You know, in case you want to bring your 3DS into math class instead of your TI-82 calculator. Angry Bunnies, a terrible Angry Birds clone on a console that already has Angry Birds on it. But if you were someone that just really liked the concept of Angry Birds and just couldn't stand birds and wanted to throw around mammals instead, and you preferred awful controls, you know what, maybe this game is for you. But if that is you, I deeply apologize. There was even a more expensive version on the Wii U if you were feeling especially feisty with your wallet that day. It's the same game, but it looks better. Cool. Oh, and hey, speaking of birds, Bird Mania 3D, one of those endless flyer and get as many points as possible type of games. You know what this is like. One of those you play the game for 60 milliseconds and you've experienced the entire thing kind of games. You know,
it's
one of those, but there is a story. Birds are flying south for the winter, and Mojo, your name is Mojo by the way, overslept. Doy, idiot. And now you have to catch up with everybody on your way to Africa because that's what birds do. All right, Mojo, let's go. He's dead now. Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess the game is fine, but it's just missing a theme. Like, I just wish there was some sort of cohesive theme that tied everything together that made me feel jolly. Like, maybe if it was Christmas themed. Oh my god. Dude, let's go! Birds are flying south for the, annual vacation to Africa this time. Okay, I can go with that. I guess the whole flying south for the winter thing, if we're already on December 25th here, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's the same game, just now there's snow. I love video games. I know it's crazy. I can't believe Nintendo would allow this game on the same eShop they had Mario Clock and Calculator on. What are the odds of that? Did you know actually that the Clock app has an alarm clock on it that will blast Mario music even if the volume slider is completely muted, just in case you wanted to wake up to blaring chiptune. Probably the most disappointing proper Nintendo release on the eShop is Chibi-Robo Photo Finder, and trust me, it brings me no pleasure to say this. In this adventure, Chibi-Robo is working with a museum curator to collect a bunch of nostalgia-junk, relics from the past. And since you can time travel, I guess it's up to you to get the job done. What transpires then is a game all about throwing a bunch of shapes your way, and you gotta take pictures of items in the real world that fit in those outlines. And just pray to God the shoddy 3DS camera actually picks it up. If it was just that, this would be simply another pointless photo app right alongside photos with Mario. Remember this thing? Of course you don't. There are actual mini-games though. Here's a shooting one. Guess how long this ruler is? And I mean, hey, it's functional, but the time in between these minigames is just so long and damn tedious, and anytime you just run around, it makes me sad that this little robot never got the love that he deserved. Honestly, I'ma say it, Photo Finder is worse than Ziplash. It's not like either of them are good, but at least Ziplash is its own thing. Photo Finder shows the potential of this franchise on a handheld. It's in 3D for crying out loud, but it's just a 3DS gimmick showcase, and it doesn't even do a good job of that. And like I said, now I'm sad. I'm gonna go play some more 3D Classics Urban Champion to cheer myself up.
You think that will work?
I guess this one really shouldn't count since Garfield Kart did get a retail release. It's not eShop exclusive, but I think I would be a little bit too embarrassed to allow this game into my house, so I'm going digital with this one. Here we are. So it's a Mario Kart clone, obviously. Can it really be as bad as everyone says it? Yeah. Yes, it is. So for one, no multiplayer. Because why would you want that? This game is too good for more than one person to handle at a time. Look at how excited Garfield is. This ain't Monday in his world. Oh, it's like a Friday in this world. Look at that smile. That's me. That's me excited to play this game right now. I want to die. Wow. It's truly remarkable how boring this game is. All of these tracks are just so barren and lifeless. Oh. Okay then. I'm not proud to admit that I played this game for more than a half hour, but hey, I needed a reason to reconsider my life choices anyway, so this helped with that. The items are incredibly unbalanced too. Like, Mario Kart has this formula down, so much so that you don't really even think about it. If you're behind, you have a stronger chance of getting better items to help even the score. Yes, it does add random chance into the equation, and it's not all skill-based, but it is for the best, because again, even playing field. If the game is just you holding the acceleration until you get to the end, That's not better.
This game is apparently
And why is
notorious
this Garfield
in the
anyway?
VTuber
Why
community.
of all
VTubers
franchise,
played
the fat
physical version
lasagna
of
cat?
multiplayer.
Oh wow, it's a funny orange
Really?
cat that hates Mondays and loves lasagna?
Why?
Put him in a car. And why did they make a second one? Yeah, okay, yeah, Garfield cart, really bad. What a surprise. Something new, please.
I don't get it.
Escape from forest. Oh man, they couldn't even get the current score and max score counters to sync up. I am so tired. So in this one, you're automatically running forward and it's up to you to avoid the things, but what things are safe and which aren't, I don't know. I feel like I'm just running into these trees all the time, but I'm totally okay. God, next. Fat dragons. We out here body shaming dragons now? It's just balloon fight but with dragons.
Oh.
Okay. Is the idea that you're so fat that you crush your enemies from the sheer weight being thrust onto their shoulders? I guess that's the case. And I also guess that music was out of their budget.
Yikes.
The song's my favorite. The Magic Hammer. Immediately, I'm already kind of impressed. I mean, the game has a functional user interface. At this point, I'm stunned. Create your character.
As in mine.
Yeah, that's me. Okay, speak to the village elder. Sure, I can do that. You know, right off the bat, it is quick to assume that this is some sort of Minecraft clone, but no. You ever play Dragon Quest Builders? It's more like that. A bit of an action-adventure game that just so happens to take place in a blocky world. It's been 10 seconds, and I'm already lost. I don't know where this stupid elder is. All these villagers just want to trade items. No one's telling me anything. There's no magic hammer in sight, so for one, I am very thrown off. Which one of you stupid blocky idiots is the elder? Oh god, okay, you, finally, I got lost. This whole village is like 2 square feet and I got lost, but okay, hello. Oh god, okay, finally, with the magic hammer in tow.
Well, he even had your reaction.
Okay, now what? I am sad to report that I am back to not having a single idea of what to do. Guess I'll go brave the wilderness. Oh no, enemies, back off, evil fiends, and face my hammer. Huh, alright, that wasn't too bad. What is Crimson MacGuffin? Oh god! Okay. You know, I suddenly have this major urge to play Minecraft. I just really want to play Minecraft on the Nintendo 3DS, but all I have is this crappy old 3DS. It doesn't run on here. As for the new 3DS, I don't want to play this stupid thing. I want to play this stupid thing. If only there was some way we can meet in the middle here. Well, do I ever have the game for you. Am I finally going insane? Oh, this ain't your granddad's Cube Creator. It's Cube Creator 3D.
But a cube is 3-dimensional. What the damn hell?
Oh god, why? Of course there's a Minecraft clone on this stupid console. It would be weirder if this didn't exist. You know, Minecraft did release on the 3DS, but it was that stupid, pesky new 3DS exclusive. There's only like 4 of these games, and you would only know about them because they put their stupid spine on the wrong side of the stupid case. What are us poor, stupid, original 3DS users gonna use? This, clearly, it's not. God! you know what? I really have no idea how they did this, but this is one of the worst feeling first-person games of all time. And it's here in the palm of my hands. It's all just so loose and floaty, and for the mining and or crafting, sure, whatever, you don't need to be precise, but combat? They want me to do combat with this? Oh, ha! Okay. The worlds are incredibly tiny, the interface is clunky as all hell, you only get the very bare basics of blocks to work with here. Like, this is truly what happens when you ask your parents for Minecraft and they go, oh, we have Minecraft at home. This is Cube Creator 3D, Minecraft at home. Bit Dungeon Plus. This is the loudest title music of all time. The more times you play, the more ruins you will be able to unlock. Why is this the ugliest formatting of an 8-bit text of all time? You see, now this one is one of those randomly generated dungeon crawlers. You run into a room, you clear it out, you get the key, you move on until you die. There's just not really much more to it than that. There's like a bit of a choice regarding what stats get upgraded sometimes, but you're just mindlessly slashing at enemies and hoping for the best. I feel like there's something here, but everything about this one just seems off. Something you could sink your teeth into, not for the deepest experience of the world, of course, but something for good bite-sized fun. There's something about this that I'm just not digging, and then it turns out that the game actually released on basically every other console, and it looks way better. Like, it runs smoother, the pixels are a lot cleaner, the interface doesn't look like the bare minimum to pass your college game programming class. Dare I say, this game is kind of worth checking out on literally anything else. This 3DS version is terrible and you should feel bad for releasing it. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. And now everybody, time for the 3DS main event. It's time for Kutar. Holy shit. They got Kutar in this? After an extensive 20-second research session, it come to find out that Kutar exists
yeah,
in Japan.
Maybe that might be the reason.
That's all the information I got. I can't tell if he's popular or not, but with 10 whole games on the 3DS eShop, oh man, he was certainly trying to be Kutar Tube Rider.
You're kidding me.
Okay, Kutar Magic Ball. Kutar Powder Factory. Oh, okay, yeah, this one is kinda like a game. What the f is Kutar? Man, all 10 of these games are like exactly the same. It's one Mario Party minigame stretched incredibly thin. You will eventually fail, and then Kutar goes, and that's it. What the hell is this? Kutar Quiz, at the very least. I had some high hopes for, like, okay, cool, a race to answer trivia. Got it. I can work with this, but it's not that. This guy asks you the same few questions in rotation over and over again, with the answer always being the same. Bank, Fuji, left, bank, Fuji, bank. Sometimes they hit you with the headphones, and then... I don't understand! Okay, what were reviewers saying about this? In their very critical review, Pure Nintendo has stated that the Kutar series consists of 10 games, all of which have excellent music and what do you mean, Kirak? I say we take Kutar and throw him into an open volcano. The 3DS is an incredible console, one of the best libraries of all time, and if you throw the original DS on top of that, like, it's unparalleled. It is a fantastic system with a bunch of classics from top to bottom. Which is all the more upsetting that they allowed so much crap onto this eShop because, oh my god. The Wii U, though, on the other hand, on this thing? Oh man. Oh boy, you guys have no idea. Oh god, I want to die. One of the benefits of the 3DS's eShop is that naturally, because of the portable nature of the console as well as the two-screen setup, a bulk of those games are genuinely exclusive and are now lost to the ether. Most of those experiences you cannot get anywhere else. On the flip side, luckily on the Wii U, a lot of those heavy hitters are on other consoles. Sure, some of the features may be different, but for a bulk of those games, you can play them on anything else, and that's good. Realistically, the biggest losses here boil down to like Affordable Space Adventures, Pushmo World, and Dr. Luigi. Dear God, I will never forget about Dr. Luigi and all he did for the medical world. And for a game like Meme Run, being able to slip through the cracks like that, God. The thing is though, it's not even like this game was only recently lost, it's been delisted since 2015 due to unlicensed use of the troll face, which A, is very appropriate given what this game is trying to be, and B, a funny way to learn that the troll face actually has a copyright attached to it. Great times all around, truly one of the games of all time. And yes, I know there's a sequel, and no, I'm not gonna play it. Another pretty iconic one during this era was The Letter, aka Shut Up Jimmy, we have Slender Man at home. And yep, it's bad alright. That 1 out of 10 review on Nintendo Life, they knew exactly what they were talking about. With how infamous this game was, I did expect it to be a little more offensive, but it's more so just indicative that Nintendo really had no checks and balances to what made it onto their shop during this time. You run around a dark area with a crummy flashlight, everything has a bad, blurry PS1 texture on it. The story is nonsensical, I'm not even convinced that there is one even though there's words here. But hey, to the game's credit, there are letters, so... points for at least not lying to us with the marketing. There is in fact a letter in this game, multiple even. But while The Letter was the most notorious game on this eShop, it's just such a terrible FPS from top to bottom, you're not wrong, but it's not the worst one. And I'm tired of pretending like it is. Suspension Railroad Simulator. In this game, you're in charge of a suspension train station, and as the person in command, you can get into the cockpit of the vehicle and get it to go? I think, maybe? I'll be honest, I have pressed every single button available to me, I have touched every single pixel of the gamepad touchscreen, and I can't get this thing to move to save my life. I can wander around outside the storage room, you know, I can walk into the car, and I can even swoop the camera outside. And you get me riled up, I can even go, ugh. But I cannot at all get this thing to actually move, which I would assume there's a game behind this, but I can't get to it. There's something about like needing to make sure people get into the car, but no matter what I do, I just can't do it. And when I look outside, I see the same 3 people over and over again. I think I'm just going insane, so I'm just gonna move on. Next up, we got Joe's Diner. Ooh, it's kind of a spooky game. Get ready. You're not prepared for the frights that are ahead. A diner that was built on top of a cemetery. There's some more stuff to it, but quite frankly, it's a lot of exposition. Like it is a lot of text and then a shockingly long loading screen, and I can't be bothered. I'm gonna be totally real with you. But hey, look at that. We're in the diner now. Essentially, the goal of the game is to clean up the diner before too long, as well as not making too much noise to disturb the old chieftain. That's it. And your eyes do not deceive you, this game does indeed run at frames per second. And oh man, those spooky old ghosts, let me tell you, they're up to no good. Out of nowhere, phones are gonna go off, the coffee maker's gonna go off, the TV's gonna turn on, it's haunted, and I'm about to pee my pants, I'm so damn scared. But like, you can only hold one thing at a time, and it didn't do a good job telling me where to put the thing, so I'm just walking around an abandoned diner holding a plate of food that was eaten 20 hours ago, and I don't know what's happening. There's noises all over the place. I'm not scared, I'm just annoyed. But oh, if you don't clean the diner before the end of your shift, you, die? I think? Okay, now hold on. This one has some potential now. Chasing Dead. Oh, this looks like an actual game. It's not original, it's like Walking Dead, but now they're chasing you. Ooh. You guys alright back there? Do you need an ibuprofen?
Today marks 10 days since we've had any contact with the expedition team sent to the Other Earth.
Oh no! Other Earth. That was the best you can come up with? The adventure begins in a plane in mid-crash, and yep, we got zombies. It's a good thing we got this flashlight too. I can barely tell what's going on. Maybe it's just me here, but I kind of feel like shooting a gun inside of a plane that's currently careening at max speed into the ground. It's probably not gonna help matters. That's just me. I've never been in this situation, so I wouldn't know, but that seems like a safe thought. That being said though, I've never been to Other Earth, so maybe the rules don't apply there, I don't know. Oh hey, and I'm dead. Good. These controls are just so damn sluggish. It's a basic twin stick thing. You would think that they would know what they're doing, but it just feels so bad. The buttons all do exactly what you expect them to, but the sluggish analog stick movement and the choppy frame rate, it's nearly impossible to achieve anything here. But eventually, through enough persistence, I got far enough for a new health bar to show up. What's this all about? Oh my god. Oh my god. Invisible zombie. What? Alright, come here, you invisible bastard. Oh, wait, now he's here, and he has a gun?
It seems Tia wants to get out of the room.
Every time he becomes invisible after enough bullets, like, he just kills you in 5 seconds, and you have no time to dodge anything. This sucks. But you know what? I saw, I don't know why, but I did see something. There had to be something at the end of this terrible journey, something in level 2 that was gonna be enticing. I had to push forward, and sure enough, it took like a half hour, but I did it. Level 2. Now this one here, you know, outside of the skybox thing, I got some hope. First things first, an immediate leap of faith. And there's a zombie helicopter. This can't be good. Yep, I don't think this follows protocol. Okay. Out of all the games I played here, quite honestly, Chasing Dead is the worst of the lot, but I gotta give a special shout out to the first Skunk Bundle, which includes multiple pieces of garbage. This is very ambitious. The kicker is, it's also of multiple genres. That's crazy. You got another first-person horror game with incredible audio overload and a guy that's just standing there minding his own business. I think he's supposed to be the bad guy, but Oh, hello there. Oh, actual feces. Excellent. So, yeah, it's no surprise to anyone, but this is bad too. I have zero idea what to do in this one. But, once again, we got multiple games here. This same bundle also includes Basic Ass Snake, a platformer with the world record in slowest jump speed of all time, a garbage bomb explosion mobile game that looks like it's trying to be Angry Birds, but I totally missed the memo. And okay. Well, listen here, okay? The thing that ties everything together, like truly, like you would think, okay, bad games, whatever, that there's no redeeming this one, but you're wrong. On your bingo card, if you had the main menu theme being a piano rendition of Good Riddance by Green Day, then oh man. Oh man. Oh, I'm having the time of my life, all right. I assure you that. This has been one of the times of all time. Also, relax. The first Skunk Bundle, there is no second Skunk Bundle here. You got way too ahead of yourself now. You were thinking, oh, I can be like Pokemon, the first movie. I know there's gonna be a sequel. No, you're more like Doug's first movie. You're the Doug's first movie of video games. Congratulations. Like the other games in that bundle, though, it should really be no surprise that other tiny shovelware games were slipping through the cracks at all times. Here's Daikon Set, a trio of games that are functional, and they have graphics. That's all I can give it. Emoji Kara, they kind of give you 2 words, and you gotta find the 2 emoji that are those 2 words. This cost money. Ava and Avior save the Earth.
Let's recycle and save the Earth.
Okay, let's do that. Hey kids, you ever wanted to learn the difference between compost and recycling with 2 creepy flying children staring at you the whole time to make sure you don't screw up? No? Well, clearly you hate the environment. This is the only way. And dude, like, they start to throw in hazardous materials to sift through on a moving train as well. This is... What? This is getting a little bit too much for a kid here. Take this toxic ooze. Don't put it in the recycling. That's a big no-no. I can't handle this. Let me look at all the pets I unlocked instead. The environment was a mistake. Interesting little fun fact, there's no game of Tetris on the Wii U. That's kind of weird. There was Puyo Puyo Tetris on the Wii U only in Japan, so not localized, but if you want your Tetris fix, don't worry, got you covered. Here's Heptrix. It's Tetris, but bad. There was Percy's Predicament, which is just a mediocre high school project adaptation of Monkey Ball, but you know what? Credit where it's due. The name Percy's Predicament is incredibly hilarious, so look at this guy. For being in a predicament, he's pretty f***ing happy about it. Love me, Stupid Buddies, Stupid Wonderland. This looks like a Flash game from the early 2000s. What do you mean? You see, you may be thinking to yourself now, oh, it's a preschool game for little children. That's totally fine, right? No, absolutely not. You just keep touching the animal it wants you to ad nauseum. That's it. That's the whole thing. What do you expect a kid to get out of this? All right, that animal was a bust. What about the next one? Oh wow, crazy! It's the same thing! I got a good feeling about the Dracula bat here. Alright, now come on, Dracula bat, don't let me down. Ooh, it's a matching game now. Oh, the brain juices are starting to flow now! Also found this one where you have to like move the iceberg for the animal to just get to the other side, and it controls terribly because it's based on tilting the Wii remote, and I'm so tired. Oh, dude, the stone cutter. Holy shit. The stone cutter. I don't know how, I don't know how this released. It's a series of text boxes with lifeless narration, and that's it. And you think, oh, it's a visual novel, then sure, we can at least get some good artwork out of this. No, it's a series of PNGs with the occasional piece of clip art over it. I'm stunned. It's a story about like a guy who wants to cut stones or something. I don't know. He goes out, he finds a rock, and then proceeds to cut it.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to touch the animals. I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to touch the animals either.
This game took 5 minutes to get through. Oh, you thought I was gonna say hours? No. 5 minutes. Listen, man. Like I said earlier, game development is tough. I understand. I sympathize with anyone trying to live their dream and get a video game out there for the masses to play. But this, if you sent this to Nintendo servers and they accepted it, oh man, it is proof that life is cruel and we would all be better off going to tend the fields until we die. Obviously, when you're looking at the good games on the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U, you're gonna have a grand old time. But on both of these consoles, it really calls into question whether or not the games like the ones mentioned today even deserve to be preserved, despite the eShops being closed, and you know what? Yeah, you know what, I believe they do. Yes, of course, you are likely more willing to pop on a classic like Pocket Card Jockey, or experiment with something new like Rusty's Real Deal Baseball before opting to pop on Garfield cart again. But like many other things in life, it is hard to appreciate the good in games without playing some bad ones too. And for that, these games do fulfill a purpose. Even if they're absolute trash and should not have existed. And you know what? Since all of these games have been preserved in some way, shape, or form, it'll always be interesting to go back and see what a company with the pedigree of Nintendo did allow for sale on their consoles. And how differently a wide range of people wanted to go about beginning or continuing their game development journey. Besides, it's not like the Nintendo Switch is much better. Believe it or not, most, if not every video game console that ever existed has more bad games than good games. That's just the reality of it. So for the sake of game preservation and accessibility, it is important that those games are there and you have a way to access them if you so choose. I'm not saying you should choose to play the letter in the current year, because you definitely have unresolved problems if you do, but it's important that they're there. And besides, like, if these games weren't readily accessible, I wouldn't be able to make this YouTube video, so there's one positive, you know, aspect of this, depending on who you ask. The Wii U also got Now I Know My ABCs, also by Skunk Software, and all it is the alphabet song, and then you draw out the letters. That's it. Look at this dog. This dog is deceased. Thank God for video game preservation.
There were some really painful ones in that my brain just kept going, okay, focus on something else, focus on something else, focus on the boobies. You're working on boobies, focus on the boobies. Here, look at this. This is better to look at than that. Come on, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh, you want to go Team Tummy? Okay, we can do Team Tummy. Team Tummy, Tummy! So yeah, my brain just didn't want to stick around with that video. There was just some really cringy stuff. And now we have a video that I have lined up. Because it sounded interesting. Wait, what? Okay, Pyra, don't stop calling me out, because that's how I know my brain acts 90% of the time. Hey, I was sharing what my brain was doing, and the shading's really good on these boobs. And the belly. I'm quite proud with how they're coming along. It's going to be good to have my D&D party all represented together in a piece of artwork. Because she's not the only one I've been working on for this bit of art. I have Gorge on here too. Sadly, he's right behind him right now, so give me a second. This is our party's Noel. Gorge. Everybody loves him. He's best boy. Of course. I'm focusing on the wrong part. This is Gorge. He's the party Noel. And, yeah. He's recently caught lycanthropy. So that should be interesting. But yeah. Eventually I'm going to have my whole D&D party. Although Rosa's going to have to shrink some because Gorge is a lot taller than her. But yeah. Why are people upset over these shitty games? I don't know. But I'm keeping Gorge there. Ready. And continue working on Rosa. I really do need to outline her nose though. Her nose is kind of funny looking. But it's how it wanted to come out. But on the bright side, the player loves it so far. So that's good. But yeah, okay. This next video is one I picked from Fox Akimbo. Not gonna lie, I was so tempted to click off the stream because of some of those games. And yet you were the one that played the video. Alright, Pyra, I'm gonna dip out for the night. Have a great rest of your stream. Thank you, EOS, for coming and spending time with me. It's always a pleasure. I hope you have a good rest of your night. I look forward to hanging out with you again sometime, my friend. Yeah. I instantly regretted my decision. That's understandable. But yeah, this is a Fox Akimo video that caught my attention and I want to watch it, called The Darkest Depths of VTubers. So me being a VTuber, I was intrigued.
It was on the 8th of October 2022 when the Shinsengumi incident occurred. An incident that will forever be remembered for all of the wrong reasons. As a group of VTubers that have formed called Shinsengumi had recently come up with a plan, a piece of guerrilla gameplay for reasons unknown. Perhaps it was to stir up some controversy to gain more viewers, or perhaps it was just chaos for the sake of chaos. You know what Splatoon is, right? The Nintendo game?
Yeah.
Well, the basic premise of that game is that you shoot paint at the other team, and whoever covers more area of the map wins. This is as innocent of a game as they come, but what the Shinsengumi group would do, the sick, twisted way they decided to play the game, would be in the headlines for days after it happened. And their plot involved the chroma key. If you don't know what chroma keying is, people use it a lot in editing and whatnot. The term is used quite interchangeably with green screening, which you might be a bit more familiar with. You choose a color to key, and from there on out, that color is transparent. Therefore, anything layered beneath it can be seen, and if you were to have an adult video layered underneath your gameplay, and you set the keyed color to the color of your opposing team's paint, you would have it so that when the other team shoots, you'd have blots and splodges of this video that can be seen. This took the game to a whole new level, because if you were losing now, more of your screen is going to show this porn, so you would need to shoot your paint to make sure you can cover up the video. The stakes had never been higher. This was the highest risk, lowest reward game of Splatoon that was ever played, and it would go down in infamy. Apparently, the group were having a bit of a competition because whoever had their stream banned from YouTube first lost. Tomero Ikinone, Sigure, Hinachun, Kudoe Tetsuki, Sophia Sapphire, Terry Buzu, Ryotaru, and Kikazi, who came up with the idea originally, were the deviants who decided that this sickening joke would be a fun game to play. From what I read online, one of these streamers, Hinachun, was actually involved in adult content before this, and so, believe it or not, one of the videos being played in the background was Hinachun's. Talk about reusing content, right? Anyways, if you're interested in hearing who lost the game, I read that one streamer, Sigure, had their account terminated mid-stream. Most VTubers later issued apologies the next day, which I find hilarious, but upon clicking the links of some of these apologies, I found that Ikinone's channel had also been terminated, and I saw Koda announce that they were no longer going to be active on the internet. Nintendo was understandably damn furious because of this incident. Nintendo can obviously be played by people of all ages, but it also has a huge child audience, and if some of those children were watching these streams, which, let's face it, there likely were a few, they would be exposed to some horrendously inappropriate content. Since the controversy, Shinsengumi have remained quite active on the internet, but they're yet to do anything to top this most heinous activity. This will go down as one of the wildest case studies for VTubers ever.
That's very cheeky!
One of the darkest depths in the genre's history. Now that's just one of the stories I have for you today.
Is it so that then VTubers would get
you've read the title and you've sat through the first story. In this video, we're going through the darkest depths of VTubers. Since 2015, when a YouTube channel simply called AI Channel introduced Kizuna AI to the world, we have had VTubers among us.
It was
Kizuna is thought to be the patient zero of VTubers. She was the first.
I know that's
she was a digital character voiced and manipulated by a real person behind the scenes. The world has never seen anything like her, but over the years they would see a lot more. We're going to start off relatively tame, but as the video progresses, each story is going to get more extreme and mind-blowing, building up to, and I kid you not, VTubers being used as government propaganda. So with all that to look forward to, let's jump right into it.
What?
Now, just like anyone else on the internet, VTubers in the past have been subject to criticism and attack. In our next case, however, while some people thought that this attack was justified, others thought that it was taken too far. This was the fallout of Quinn69's VTuber rant.
Rants?
So Quinn69, a New Zealand local, seemed to have been watching some stuff on Twitch when he noticed some VTubers on the side of his screen. And seemingly unprovoked, for about a minute, he just unloaded on VTubers, unleashing some heavy criticism towards them. He is evidently not a fan, let me tell you right now, but let's have a little look to see what he had to say.
Fucking VTubers, they talk in this stupid fake fucking voice.
No, I don't.
Oh my god, I'm a little VTuber. Oh wow. Oh, laughing and pretending to be fucking 13. They had to pretend to be 13 and put on some fake cringe voice and just create parasocial relationships with desperate fucking weebs who can't get a fucking girlfriend in real life because they're fucking pathetic.
So yeah, he's clearly not a fan. He doesn't like them putting on a fake voice, he doesn't like their cutesy personas, he doesn't like them babifying themselves or acting 13 as he said. He definitely doesn't like the fans, but we'll get to that in a second. And other creators have shared similar concerns. I spoke about parts of this topic in my Darkest Depths of E-Girls video, the fact that some E-Girls allegedly infantilize themselves but also sexualize themselves at the same time, and there are some people, Quinn69 included, who think that the same thing applies to VTubers. Quinn69's points against VTubing fans are also very shocking, and it makes sense that some people might get quite offended when they hear that Quinn thinks that VTube fans are desperate weebs who can't get a girlfriend in real life. You can see that even within his chat, the responses were polarized. Some people were saying that VTubers were living rent-free in his head or that he was jealous of them, but others, however, said that Quinn had a good take, or that they agree with what he had to say. Quinn69 has today more than 700,000 followers on Twitch. He's quite huge, and his audience apparently took what he had to say and just ran with it. The rant was later posted to Reddit's r/livestreamfail, an area where people post the latest Twitch drama, and this exposed his views and opinions to a new audience, many of whom shared the same opinion. I feel like VTubers and their fans are in an area on the internet kind of like furries and the creeps on WikiFeet, where people feel very comfortable just to dunk on them. It's an easy punchline, they're an easy group to attack. These words do have consequences, however, and it was around this time last year, in March 2022, that Iron Mouse, one of the largest VTubers in the world, would come out to claim that since the rant, she had received much more hate and toxicity in her streams. She's million followers. She's a very big streamer, and her avatar was featured in the clip that Quinn was watching, as well as Vebe, Snuffy, and Nyanas. She claimed that Quinn didn't know anything about VTubers and said that what he was saying wasn't true, admitting that she'd recently seen an increase in hate within her chat. Let it be known that Quinn never explicitly asked for this. He never asked his fans to go and berate the VTubers that were on the screen. They were just kind of riled up on what he had to say. Some people might say that streamers with as large of a following as Quinn should be more careful or aware that this kind of fallout might happen. But others would argue that compared to some of the other things that he said in the past, these VTuber comments were relatively tame. He's been banned off Twitch a few times in the past because of these, one time in particular after making extremely controversial comments in regards to women, saying that if they weren't needed for reproduction, they would be killed off by now. Is what he said true? Are VTubers putting on fake 13-year-old voices? Are they cheating the system? Are all of their fans a bunch of basement-dwelling loser dweebs? Or is this just sour grapes? I know what I'd say, but let me know what you think. If you've seen any of my Darkest Depths videos before, you'd know that sometimes I like to dip into academia to talk about a point or discuss a larger theme, and that's exactly what we're going to do for this next case. Take a look at a VTuber and what do you see? We have someone who's utilised screen capture software to puppeteer an anime-inspired character, but VTubers are quite unlike anything we've really seen before. Just before, we discussed how Quinn69 went off on VTubers talking in a younger voice and putting on a show. Do they? He calls them cheaters. He thinks that what they're doing is fake. These creators have crafted to a T exactly how they want to be represented on screen. If they're self-conscious about their looks or their voice or their presence on camera, they can adjust it. They have the advantage of being seen, but not really. In the same vein, in an era of content creation where authenticity and identity mean so much, to what extent are these creations real and
Well, you've got more than that.
Do you not think that some people would see that it's very profitable to perhaps hide behind a mask, put on a fake voice, play up this character, and then take home the bread? Let's talk about that.
the ability to be able to.
So when I was pondering over this, I came across Anna Brianna Turner's 2022 master thesis. It was a good read from what I read, and she made some points that I had been thinking too. She made points about the separation of online and offline selves. She made points about parasocial relationships, and also the inverse of imagined audiences, how VTubers don't really know their audience because their relationship will purely only ever live online. It's not like myself or other creators where if we're just walking down the street, you could see us and come up to us and we could have an interaction because you would know who we are. You could walk past your favourite VTuber of all time and you would have no clue whatsoever. For these sorts of streamers,
got recognized on the street for being
in a Twitch chat box, and it's much harder to infer anything about them from that. However, I want to draw your attention to her study in which she reached out to 77 VTubers on Twitch. Of these, 10 of them responded and completed an interview with her. These VTubers that took the interview ranged in size from less than 1,000 followers to almost 400k. They also varied in gender and when they started VTubing, though most began in the past 3 years. She found that for 8 of the 10 VTubers that she spoke to, their avatar was meant to incorporate aspects of the creator. Most of these participants also found that these sorts of online communities could be seen as a safe haven for traditionally vulnerable communities such as the furry community and the LGBT community, and it's actually the separation of the real and virtual that allows this to happen. Most of the VTubers thought of their avatars as more of an extension of themselves rather than a character that they've created, with some of them thinking that role-playing characters are falling out of fashion, albeit with some of them claiming that though they're not playing a character, their personality is a bit different when in front of the camera. Then there was a small minority who did claim to play a character, but they also said that playing this character allowed them to have a form of escapism, so this helps them deal with their anxieties and whatnot, rather than this being for monetary gain. Though one later brought up a very fascinating point, which is, what is a real, authentic person? When you go out in public, you abide by rules, norms, values and whatnot that you might not have if they didn't exist. You might wear clothing to try and impress someone rather than because you like it. In a social interaction, you'll try to present yourself how you want to come off. You might act or play up to try and fit within a social group. I'm not in high school anymore. You could
That's
even
when
say
I did that
you
shit.
might even take on a bit of a character. When at home, there is no audience for him to worry about. When he's out in public and accompanied by friends, his self-presentation is influenced by his perception of their expectations as well as the strangers around him. Now, this study does have flaws. The sample size is very small and also very Western. VTubing has Japanese origins and it's incredibly popular around Asia, so when you have 6 Yanks, 3 Limeys and a Dane, perspectives won't be incredibly varied. This story isn't as shocking as some of the others we'll have today, but it's important to keep in mind what the concept of the VTuber means in the larger picture. Onto something that should be shocking though, but probably isn't, allegations dominate our next tale. It was only a few months ago, towards the tail end of last year, in October 2022, the news stories broke that a very large Chinese VTuber, one of the biggest on Bilibili, had abused his former partner, misled fans, and committed a number of other unspeakable deeds. As I said, this story takes place in China, so I'm going off journalistic sources here, and they point to a VTuber known as Kyoka, who is the founder of a group known as Over Idea. By the time this news came out, it seems as though Kyoka had helped the group reach more than 1 million subscribers on Bilibili.
Oh,
He'd also collaborated with other extremely popular VTubers such as Voxakuma, who is a very large streamer in his own right. He has more than 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Everything was going right for Kyoka and Over Idea, but as has happened so many times now, behind the scenes there was more to this than met the eye. In early October of 2022, another VTuber known as Bingtang came out with a video titled "My 3 Years with a Scum" or something along those lines after being translated into English. It was a video that was just shy of being 90 minutes long, which detailed numerous distasteful things that Kyoka did. This video was sourced with screenshots and other pieces of evidence, having since been translated into English too. This includes recordings of their conversations, adding further incrimination. Kyoka approached a number of female VTubers who posted vulnerable messages on social media before chatting to them very deeply, very privately, sometimes in
you see that it's obtainable to go out there and get
You're looking good, doing great.
For me,
I'm doing good. How was your stream?
Challenge every year. Every year is a new year. You keep getting better and better. But the motivation is to continue to try to do whatever you can to get back.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing well today. I'm having fun. I'm drawing a picture that I think is working out quite nicely. Want to see? Stream was awesome. I'm glad to hear it. But yeah, this is what I'm drawing today. It's a member of my D&D party that is played by Pink Dragon. But yeah, I'm glad your stream was awesome. What were you up to today?
Voice calls, sometimes by sending photos to you and revealing personal information. I've got my laptop here just to list off a few of the things that Kyoka is said to have done. I want to make sure I get all of the allegations correct. He's said to have solicited sex workers, which is very illegal in China. He would then allegedly tell Bingtang of these encounters. He pressured Bingtang into what she called softcore sexual content. He's said to have just been leeching off other VTubers for views and fame and money, and even when it came to his own fans, he didn't care because he apparently called them money printers. He's said to have been emotionally manipulative, he's said to have been a sex pest, and he apparently sent death threats after this news came out. These are all monstrous things, but allow me to remind you that these are just allegations. I'm not accusing him of anything, I'm just repeating what I read on the internet. After Bingtang came out with her story, fans instantly turned on Kyoka, and though he'd come out and tried to clear things up, from what I'm aware, this also didn't turn out well for him, as fans thought that he was making excuses or actually putting the blame on Bingtang. In the fallout of this, Over Idea would forever be tainted by this news story coming to light, and they've now been marked as controversial on Bilibili. The exposing video would later be taken down from Bilibili, whether that was due to the harassment that Bingtang received, or whether it was Over Idea trying to sweep this under the rug, I can't say for sure. Though it has been re-uploaded on YouTube since, but nonetheless, this has raised questions when it comes to the VTuber community. I've always been one to say that you really don't know your favourite creators, especially when they're hidden behind an avatar. Just like any other form of media, of course VTubing is going to have its fair share of bad eggs, but this could just be a small microcosm of the lies, deceit, manipulation and dirty deeds within the community. With it being a fairly recent phenomenon, only time will tell just how commonplace this sort of behaviour truly is. It really is a shame that Bingtang suffered so much harassment from audience members during this saga of her life, but unfortunately, this kind of thing isn't an isolated incident within the VTuber community. Now, I'm a little bit late for this one. For the most part, this controversy has come and gone, but the release of Hogwarts Legacy really ignited a fire in the hearts of gamers around the world.
What happened with
if you somehow don't know why, the author of the Harry Potter franchise, in which Hogwarts Legacy is a part of, is J.K. Rowling, one of the most famous modern authors. She's one of the most influential writers of the past century, she's worth a fortune, and for the longest time, she was a universally well-respected and big feminist figure. However, over the past few years, she's come under fire for many things. It started off light. People thought that it was a bit weird that she retconned her books years later, saying stuff like Uncle Vernon supported Brexit, that wizards didn't have toilets so they would just take a dump and then magic it away, and apparently Harry Potter has erectile dysfunction. Like, this is all true. It's really weird, unhinged stuff that just didn't need to be put in there. That was the lightest of her controversies though, because people have since accused her of racism, especially when it comes to naming her characters. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter get upset that she has an Irish boy called Seamus and an Asian girl called Cho Chang. I'm half Irish myself, so I will admit there's a lot of Seamuses out there in Ireland, but still it's a very stereotypical name nonetheless. Cho Chang's probably even worse. But of course her largest controversy has to be her views on transgender people. J.K. Rowling has been called a TERF, or a trans exclusionary radical feminist online, and if you've seen her name in the news over the past 2 to 3 years, it's likely been because of this. Thus, because the Harry Potter franchise is intrinsically tied to its creator, when Hogwarts Legacy dropped, there was an uncomfortable standoff. Some people were saying that the game shouldn't be played or streamed as it was lining the pockets of a transphobe. Others thought that it absolutely should be played, as J.K. Rowling had very little to do with the game other than give it the world in which it's based in, and on top of that, plenty of hard-working game devs worked on it. Some others just wanted to play it regardless of Rowling's views, and some people wanted to play it because they agreed with what she had to say, and perhaps bought the game in solidarity with her. But in the case of Pikami, a former VTuber and streamer, some people took their attack on the game perhaps a little bit too far.
Poor Pikami. She was hilarious.
So Pikami was a Japanese streamer under the VOMS project, an independent group of VTubers. She had more than 700,000 subscribers on YouTube, she had more than 40 million views on the platform, but once it was revealed that she planned to stream Hogwarts Legacy, her online career would come to a quick and abrupt end. Let me say that this controversy is not confirmed to be the reason that she left in the slightest, but it is the leading theory because many streamers face severe backlash for trying to play the game. The most notable of these was Silverveil, who ended a stream in tears after being harassed for playing the game. Hogwarts Legacy dropped on the 10th of February this year, instantly becoming one of the largest games on Twitch. Pikami announced on Twitter her plans to play the game, but this offended many of her viewers who claimed that in doing so, she was being transphobic and she agreed with Rowling's views. Some of these people went into the pre-chat of her stream and flooded it with hate and insults directed at Pikami. It all got a bit too much for her and she ended up cancelling her stream, later going on to tweet that she didn't support transphobia, she just wanted to play the game. By March 1st, after a month hiatus, Pikami announced that she would be graduating at the end of the month, which essentially means to retire. She's kept her word too, having since privated or deleted all of her content. On the one hand, if this was in fact the reason that she stopped, some people would say, fair play, because if you can't handle the heat, get out the kitchen. Speaking from personal experience, if you can't handle a small controversy like this, perhaps being an online figure just isn't for you. On top of that, just by merely playing the game, some people would say that you're perpetuating transphobia and bigotry. Even if you don't agree with what Rowling has to say, you're saying it's okay or that you'll only stand with the trans community until it inconveniences you. If you're a large streamer, you're going to have influence, and some people might be convinced to buy the game because of you. And this is only going to line the pockets of JK Rowling and potentially fund TERF campaigns. However, others might say that it's a bit hypocritical preaching for tolerance and respect, and then simultaneously viciously attacking people to the point of tears just because they played a video game that you don't like. You could also point out the severe hypocrisy of people messaging these streamers on iPhones.
Separate the art from the artist, exactly.
Side nets outside the window, delivered to them through Amazon.
That I've been having
Where do you draw the line of what's okay to buy and what's not? Let me say too that though hate and harassment did occur, it's obvious that not all trans people and their allies were in favour of doing this. Many of them urged others not to send hate and threats. More on that, some people made the point that trans streamers face much more consistent and often much more severe hate raids than what these Hogwarts streamers faced. This backlash was allegedly more denouncing their support rather than doxing, physical threats, or anything more serious like that trans streamers face all the time. Still, it's tough to see that if that was the case, why streamers such as Silverveil would break down into tears and why Pikami would potentially decide to stop streaming altogether because of it. And now for the coup de grace of this video, a story so wild that when I read it for the first time, I thought it was something from The Onion, but trust me, it's not. Let's talk about the time that the Chinese Communist Youth League tried to dip their toes into VTubing.
Wait, what?
Yes, this is legitimate. It seems quite similar to the military thirst traps from my Darkest Depths of Egos video, so if you're interested in this topic, make sure to watch that one next. But essentially, it was in February of 2020 when all of these news articles seem to have broken. I'm reading a blog post from James Newby for my information on their source. According to his own accounts, he's been living in China since 2005, and his work has been published in such publications as The Wire, The Financial Times, and Vogue. His post claims that the Chinese Communist Party have tried to engage with younger people by trying to speak their language. They did this by creating VTubers called Zhang Xinjiao, who is the female VTuber icon, and her male counterpart, Honky Man. According to Newby, the Communist Youth League attempted to build excitement around a pair of virtual influencers by teasing their silhouettes and the word, "New VTubers are coming soon." Within hours, the post had attracted tens of thousands of comments and hashtags. However, things started going wrong when people started using these hashtags to vent on misogyny and make outright political points. So as of a result of this, the Communist Youth League decided to delete their post and try to pretend like they never existed. Now that I know this, let me tell you that at some point in the future, I'm definitely going to make a video about governments using influencers to try and reach the younger generations, because it's not just China that's done it. As I said, America has done it before, and I think I saw somewhere else that North Korea's been doing it recently. So don't be surprised if this kind of thing becomes even more commonplace in the future.
Even North Korea?
Become more commonplace in the future is you watching my videos. Twitch's Shocking Bad Accounts comes to mind as one that I'm sure you'll like if you enjoyed this one, and if you did, please make sure to like and subscribe, and apart from that, I'll see you later.
Okay, bye. Russia did it?
Every year,
1 million people.
It was on the 8th. I think I can speak for everyone when I say
okay.
Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. The Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers was a mini-series that aired directly after Season 3 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and just before Power Rangers Zeo. It is a season that is often forgotten about, but it certainly had some elements that should definitely be remembered. In today's video we will be covering the full story of the Alien Rangers.
It just
Let's
didn't
get
get as
into
much
it.
recognition because that is true.
So, if you remember, the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers has the Rangers reverted back to children once more. However, unlike the previous time that this happened, they retained their adult memories. But they were unable to access their powers, meaning they could not morph. So in order to take on the remaining threat to the Earth, Zordon contacted the Alien Rangers from the planet Aquitar. Now, I have always wondered what happened on Aquitar when these Rangers arrived on Earth. Did the Aquitian bad guys just run rampant? Or do they also have other Ranger teams on their planet? These are just some of the silly questions that run through my mind. Anyway, these Rangers are humanoid, partially aquatic aliens, and though Earth's environment ultimately is inhospitable to them, they agree to help.
That's a good point.
An interesting fact about the Alien Rangers is how they morph. They were given power coins by Ninja 1,000 years ago. Unlike the others, the Aquitians drew their power directly from the coins in order to morph, which means they didn't need a morpher like the regular Rangers. This potentially contradicts my previous video on how the power coins and the morphers work, but I'm not too sure. Maybe go back and check out that video and see what you guys think. Anyway, the Alien Ranger team consists of 5 Rangers. Delphine, the White Ranger and leader of the team. She pilots the White Battleborg and the White Shogun Zord. Delphine has more endurance and can survive far longer outside the water than the rest of her team. Her symbol is an arrow. We have Oriko, the Red Ranger. He leads the Rangers in battle and devises strategies that ensure victory. His symbol is the circle, and he uses ninjutsu to vanish from one place and appear in another to dodge his enemies. He pilots the Red Battleborg and, during his stay on Earth, the Red Shogun Zord as well. Years later, he joined 9 other Red Rangers to fight the Machine Empire on the Moon during the Forever Red episode. We then have Corcus, the Black Ranger. He is the quietest member of the team, often lurking in the background, but he fights with extreme ferocity against his enemies. The Black Aquitian Ranger's symbol is the Pentagon. He controls the Black Beetleborg and the Black Shogun Zord. Tydeus is the Yellow Aquitian Ranger. He is a very strong and level-headed individual. He is also the first male Yellow Ranger, a tradition which occurs frequently in the Sentai counterpart, but does not happen again in the American release until Dustin becomes the Yellow Wind Ranger in Power Rangers Ninja Storm a few years later. Tydeus was entrusted with the power of the Yellow Battleborg and the Yellow Shogun Zord. The Yellow Aquitian Ranger's symbol is the triangle. He can even send yellow triangular energy beams at his enemies. Finally, we have Sestro, the Blue Ranger. He is the brains of the team, a master of technology. He creates weapons and devices that get the Aquitian Rangers out of tough situations. He is entrusted with the power of the Blue Battleborg and the Blue Shogun Zord. The Blue Aquitian Ranger's symbol is the square. His special attack is called the Aquitar Waterfall. Anyway, after they arrive on Earth, Master Vile returns home and leaves Rita and Zed alone with their mission in conquering the Earth. Hoping to restore the Rangers of the ages, Billy Cranston, the Blue Ranger, builds a regenerator powered by the Ninja Power Coins.
No matter how
However,
much you
only
can
Billy
enjoy
is restored to normal before the device is stolen by Goldar and Rito Revolto. Rita and Zed then destroy the Power Coins for good, meaning there is no chance the Rangers can get their powers back. So the only people standing in the way of evil being victorious is the Aquitian Rangers. The problem is, they cannot stay on Earth forever, because, as I mentioned, it's not a hospitable environment for them, so they have to conquer evil quickly. Ultimately, Zordon realizes that only one thing
I've been working on a video about me watching the first season of One Piece, and I actually have to look at it that way, look at that kind of thing a little bit in it.
The 5 younger versions of the Mighty Morphin Rangers then each have to travel to a different country and point in time. Don't ask too many questions here, just go with it. Each Ranger's journey should result in them finding a sub-Zeo crystal. Upon success, they are returned to the present. All the while, the Equithian Rangers, Billy, Zordon, and Alpha 5 fend off the forces of Lord Zed and Rita. The villains also plot to destroy the command center and steal the completed Zeo crystal. Zed and Rita even manage to summon the Equithian Rangers' arch foe, Hydro Hog, to destroy them. After a great deal of difficulty, the Equithian Rangers destroy him. Meanwhile, Aisha Campbell acquires the final sub-crystal in Africa. However, she chooses to remain in exchange for the sub-crystal, and new friend Tanya Sloan goes in her place. Once the Zeo crystal is recombined in a machine devised by none other than Billy, Earth is restored to normal. The teenage Rangers bid thanks and farewell to their Equithian counterparts, who return to Aquitar. However, Goldar and Rita Revolto steal the Zeo crystal out of the command center, and their bomb goes off soon afterwards. The Rangers are teleported to safety just before the command center is destroyed. The series finale is a great transition into Power Rangers Zeo. In fact, it's probably one of the better season enders in all of Power Rangers in my opinion, leading on very well to the next series. The Equithian Rangers are later seen and referenced in future seasons. Sestro returns unmorphed in Graduation Blues, seeking Billy's help against the Hydro Contaminators. He also later briefly appears with Delphine in Revelations of Gold. The Equithian and Zeo Rangers team up in the Rangers of Two Worlds two-parter, the first instance on the series of two full teams appearing together. The two-parter also centered around Billy's rapid aging because of his use of the Regenerator. It is of course here where he falls in love with Equithian and chooses to stay there to live out the rest of his days. So what do you guys actually think of the Alien Rangers? Did you enjoy their miniseries? Would you like to have seen a full season on them and their adventures on Aquitar? Or do you think using them as a transitional team worked best? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Before we go guys, I would like to tell you about today's sponsor, one that could be of interest to all of you. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for you to build your brand and customize it then and upload your video effective. Improve your website. Head to Squarespace. That's it from me today my friends. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you have a brought to you by Squarespace. The main villain from the first Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie is one of the most memorable and iconic villains in Power Rangers history. Now, due to the movie not being considered canon, but existing within its own universe, fans have often campaigned for him to be introduced as a villain within the show, which in my opinion would be awesome. Now, in today's video, I will be covering his full story and trying to figure out if there's a possibility of him ever making a return. Let's get into it. Before we start guys, I want to put out a gentle reminder to consider subscribing to the 6th Ranger. Looking at our analytics, only 19% of the audience have actually subbed. As we are so close to 100,000 subscribers, it would mean so much.
Could you imagine having that many subbies?
It's of course free and helps me out a lot. Thanks guys. So like I said, Ivan Ooze was an intergalactic tyrant that served as the main antagonist for the 1995 Power Rangers movie. According to Zordon, Ooze once ruled the world with a reign of unparalleled terror. He remained in control until he was eventually defeated and imprisoned in a hyperlocked chamber by Zordon, Dulcia and the Order of the Meridian, who were presumably the precursors to the Power Rangers as we know them. Before he was beaten, he had ruled the world not only through his own power, but by using his foot soldiers which were known as Ooze-men and constructs similar to Zords. Despite being trapped, Ivan was aware of what was going on outside of his prison. He would later complain about having missed the Black Plague, the Spanish Inquisition, and the Brady Bunch reunion. So how is it that Ivan Ooze was released upon the world again in the 1990s, 6,000 years after his initial imprisonment? Well, it's simply through a construction crew in Angel Grove. During construction, they come across the hyperlock chamber and reveal it once more. Zordon realizes this and tries to send the Rangers to hide it again,
but most people just don't give a fuck.
However, Earth's current villains, Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa, get there first, seeing it as an opportunity to recruit one of the most powerful evildoers of all time to help them finally defeat Zordon and the Rangers. So they release him. Due to Ivan Ooze's straight hatred for Zordon, he agrees to help them, as he doesn't see it as a job, but more of a mission of revenge. Revenge for being locked away for 6,000 years. It doesn't take long for Ooze to breach the command center security and destroy it. In the process, he damages Alpha and destroys Zordon's time warp, which causes Zordon to age rapidly. Only the Rangers can now save Zordon and stop this new evil villain from taking over the world for a second time. However, because of the command center being destroyed, the Rangers have also lost their powers, meaning they need to find a new source of power. It of course didn't take
That
long
looks
before
better.
Ooze decides that
The
he needs to
hips.
rid the world of Rita and
Don't
Zed,
they?
as of course there is only
Some-
enough room
lots of
for one
countries,
evil ruler.
become
So he
an
places
adult
them in a
daycare.
snow globe.
Yeah,
to
some
stop them
countries are.
interfering. Their henchmen, Goldar
Is
and
that
Mordant,
better?
swear allegiance
The
to
hips
Ivan
in the butt area?
rather than
What'd you
join
say?
Rita and Zed in captivity.
Definitely
The
better
next
than
stage of
it
his plan
was.
is then to brainwash all of the parents of Angel
I'm not
Grove
sure
to
how I
force them
feel
to dig
about
up
him
the
yet.
parts of
What do you
his
think?
ectomorphicons, large insect-like machines that are very similar to
Yeah,
Zords.
it is bad.
Once the ectomorphicons are completed, he sends them to destroy the city, whilst ordering the parents to leap to their doom at the construction site. Ivan then spends his time in the observatory with Goldar, watching the destruction his machines wrought on the city. Of course, the Rangers then go in search for their new powers, where they meet Dulcia. She initially tells them to leave for their own safety, but after hearing of Zordon's plight, she agrees to help them.
The
and
one
takes
in
them to
green
the
is wearing a
ancient
hot
temple,
outfit.
where the Rangers will
Very
have to overcome obstacles to acquire the power of the Ninjati. Dulcia awakens each of the Rangers' animal spirit. Aisha is a bear, Rocky an ape, Billy a wolf, Kimberly a crane,
Yeah,
and
it
Adam
restricts
a frog.
freedom for security.
And finally, Tommy is the
It
falcon.
goes from one
Upon
extreme
being
to
asked
another.
if she could join them,
Like in
Dulcia
V for
informs the
Vendetta.
Rangers that she would
That
begin to age as
they
rapidly
gave up
as
their
Zordon
freedom
is at the moment
to
she steps
security.
beyond the temple. She then shapeshifts into an owl to preserve her age. The Rangers make their way to the monolith housing the Great Power, using their wits to defeat the live fossilized dinosaur skeleton,
exactly.
and then the temple's stone gargoyle
How's the
guardians, and
butt
retrieve the Great Power.
hip area
restoring
of
their
my
suits.
drawing looking?
They then return to Angel
This
Grove
area
and
here.
battle Ivan Ooze's machines with their new ninja Zords. Using
Is
these
that better?
Zords, they are able to destroy Scorpitron. Ivan is then forced to join with the Hornitor and take on the Rangers himself. The battle progresses into outer space, and
Looks good?
though Ivan
Okay.
consistently has the
So
upper
I don't
hand,
need to make
he's
it
eventually
bigger?
destroyed when the Ninja Falcon Megazord kicks him into the path of Ryan's Comet, which obliterates Ivan Ooze on impact. And that
Definitely
is
better
how
than
Ivan
it was.
Ooze met his demise. So,
Oh,
is there a possibility of him returning? Well, no. Not as the Ooze we all know. He is very much gone. But if you know Power Rangers, you know that nothing is impossible. They brought Zed back in Dino Fury, so I do not see any reason why a villain, perhaps in Cosmic Fury, could use a time machine to go back 6,000 years or so to when Ooze was first at the height of his power and bring him back to the modern day. Seems like a plausible Power Rangers storyline to me. Now obviously, as the Ooze we know is from a separate canonical universe, it wouldn't technically be the same character, but it can certainly be the main universe's version of him. If I'm honest, out of all the villains we have seen over the last 30 years of Power Rangers stories, through TV shows, movies and comic books, I think, outside of probably Lord Draken, Ivan Ooze is the character I would like to see on screen more than anyone else. He was different, he was funny, and to be honest, quite menacing. Let's hope that there is a chance that he will appear again in the near future. Before we go guys, I would like to tell you about today's sponsor. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for you to build your brand and grow your business online. It can be used to create stunning websites and personalize it for your own needs. Engage with your audience, sell your products, your content, or even your time. The possibilities are limited only by your imagination. It's so easy to use. You can use the custom templates to get started with your site and customize it then to fit your requirements. You can even browse different categories to find the ideal starting point. If you're like me and you're a video content creator, it's an easy way to host content. You can embed videos from third-party hosts directly to your site, or you can upload your video library to Squarespace and even sell access to your content. Finally, and this one is always very important to me, the analytics tools are priceless. Being able to learn where your site visits and sales are coming from and analyze which channels are most effective.
Do you guys want to watch the darkest depths of the ego community or something else? I quite enjoyed him going into the VTuber side of things. So I thought I'd bring up this one. But if you disagree, please let me know. Any more darkest depths of VTubers? No, not yet. Not that I was able to see. Darkest depths of the ego community I was able to find. I'm gonna play this video.
An entity grander than life itself and more treasured than any amount.
Interested in this one now. Okay.
To many, they're more important than survival's most necessary needs. water, food, shelter, clothing, health and safety. These all pale in comparison. They unite people of all creeds, colours, religions and walks of life. They're truly one of the universe's most agreeable common denominators. From the peaks of Mount Fuji to the lakes of Los Angeles and everywhere in between, we all know their name. Purely perfect goddesses among us mortals forced to walk this earth in sin. Of course I'm talking about
yes, the darkest depths of LGBT.
In this video, I'm doing a deep dive into the subculture to unearth the hidden realities of one of nature's most seemingly glorious creations. But here, in this moment, we will ask if this is really the case. From the dangers that these women face every day for merely doing their job, to the leaked group chat that almost ended it all, these are the darkest depths of the e-girl community. Now this is naturally a large task here, and I think the first and most appropriate place to start is to talk about some of the misconceptions in the e-girl subculture, because we need to understand what they are and how they're perceived before we can start talking about the implications of their presence online. So an e-girl is generally defined as an active internet user, likely an anime or gaming fan, who have cultivated an aesthetic that blends emo, skater and Japanese styles into their look. The term has apparently been around for a lot longer than you'd expect, first appearing in the Urban Dictionary in 2009. Back then it was deemed as an insult. But it was as of the rise of TikTok that these girls reclaimed their word, and this is when they really came into the limelight, quickly becoming one of this generation's most large and recognizable subcultures. However, because this is such a vast community, a lot of people generalize, or they tar them all with the same brush. They assume that all e-girls are young, depressed, pill-popping, promiscuous introverts. And though yes, there are definitely some young, depressed, pill-popping, promiscuous introverts in the mix, this isn't representative of all of them. Just most of them. Some e-girls are out there dancing on TikTok because they're happy, some e-girls have social lives, some of them aren't depressed. I think. I'd wager at least one or two of them aren't depressed. So now we know how e-girls are stereotyped, let's talk about the time they used their good looks and wily charm to convince a generation of young boys to grab a gun and join the military.
Wait, what?
These monsters. These sirens have sung their song, and only beeswax in thine ears shall help you resist their temptations. So the story here is that there's a TikToker called Haylujan who back in January of this year went viral because of her content where she posts thirst traps inside helicopters and posts selfies with semi-automatic weapons. She's described herself as a psychological operations specialist, which has made people wonder, is this girl actually helping to recruit people to the US Army? Has she been employed to try and recruit a bunch of simpy young men to strap on their boots and shave their head? Her damn website is called Psychops, which is an overt reference to PSYOPs, which means psychological operations. So while it's definitely possible, because this is just so blatant, I'd guess that it's more likely that this is just a marketing strategy to help her grow online, giving her an angle. But I mean, I'm sure that the US military has done stranger things in the past. And the strangest thing is, and you're not going to believe me when I say this, but the more you look into it, the more you might start to see just a bit of credibility to this theory. This isn't some isolated incident, and Lujan isn't the only military thirst trap. #MilTok is a rapidly growing area of TikTok, and users such as Bailey Crespo and Kayla Salinas have both been described as e-girls using Sereno sex appeal to lure the internet simps into the armed forces by a Dazed Digital article which I read while researching this topic. This article also mentions Natalia Fadif, who is a little bit less subtle in approach, going as gun waifu online and having 2.7 million followers on the platform. According to this article, she's an Israeli influencer and an IDF soldier who uses waifu aesthetics and catgirl cosplay to peddle pro-Israel propaganda. The article goes on to say that she poses to camera Ahigao style with freshly manicured nails wrapped neatly around a Glock. The uwuification of the military functioning as a cutesy distraction from the shadowy colonial context. So you're telling me that armies around the world are about to get uwuified? Because if so, count me in. I mean, let's just say you're in the middle of an active war zone just minding your own business, and then from out behind you, whack, you just get knocked out, blackout. You wake up just chained to a wall. You look around, you're like, oh, what's going on? You see two e-girls just doing a little fucking TikTok dance over your like body before you're about to get tortured for some information. I could get behind that, but there is a problem that could come from this. As the article says, influencers could soon become weapons in a government's arsenal. Influencers have influence by design, it's in their name, and recruitment rates in the military have been dropping substantially when comparing Gen Z to previous generations. So if all's fair in love and war, what's to stop these thirst traps from trying to boost those numbers?
I didn't on Monday because I'm sick.
If all of this seems a bit far-fetched to you, let it be known that in December 2022, it was reported by Vice's tech wing called Motherboard that the US military had plans to recruit Gen Z via very unconventional methods, such as through Twitch, esports, and the WWE. Particularly, they put an emphasis on trying to recruit women, black, and Hispanic people because I guess the US Army just isn't diverse enough. The Motherboard article also claims that the US military name-dropped creators such as Swag and Alex Zedra in their plans, who apparently refused to comment when asked to by Vice. I'm seriously considering making a full video on this topic because I haven't seen many people talk about it, and there's so much more that I haven't gone over that I potentially could, so please let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in seeing that. But because these e-girls have such a strong, ironclad grip on their impressionable, chronically online, and let's be honest, desperate fans, there has to come a point where you ask the question, are these fans being exploited? Okay, now this is a really interesting conversation because different people are going to view it very differently. And we're not talking about e-girls that are just doing some funny dances on TikTok or the ones that genuinely stream games because they love to do it. We're talking about the ones that blur the lines into sex work. The ones that dress provocatively, the ones that play their sexiness up to the camera, and they'll usually sell some sort of goods or services. And I'm going to primarily focus on Twitch because that's where this kind of thing sees the most
are actually selling
the fascinating thing when it comes to these types of women is that some people would say that the very nature of their employment would exploit them because women that are in sex work have notoriously been taken advantage of over the years. There's no denying that. And even though a lot of these people would not classify what they do as sex work because all they do is sit in a kiddie pool and make ASMR noises into a microphone, it's no secret that there is an overt sexual element in that to some people that are consuming their content. These people, depending on their levels of desperation, might donate some money. And some of them might donate a lot more money. And some of them might donate a ton of their money. Thus, some people would say that these e-girls are exploiting their audience via using their body to get whatever they want, or playing up a persona to the camera, or just selling their bathwater, like what? Now, it's important to say that some people just donate to streamers to thank them for their work. These people are entertainers. They're there when their audience are going through difficult times. It's obviously the teenage boys that are using their mum's credit cards which are the problem, or even worse yet, fully grown adults that are bankrupting themselves to get their favourite streamer to thank them in the chat. But I don't want to oversimplify here because there are lots of varying reasons why one might see online, and also let it be known that it's not just men towards women which is a problem. There's women on women, men on men, men on women, women on men, and all the rest. During my research, I was able to track down this website, now called epow.gg, but formerly known as ego.gg. And it's a platform in which you pay some money, seemingly about £5 for 30 minutes, though some streamers' prices are higher, and after you pay them, you can play with these streamers or talk to them in chat, guys or girls or whoever. At the end of the day, these sorts of streamers do not care about you, you are just a paycheck for them. This study that I found on the subject drew two conclusions from this.
Sadly, I actually do care about it.
The widespreading relevancy of gender in games. This study was written by Christine H. Cran in 2022, and though it's a bit wordy throughout, it ended on a conclusion that's an important aspect of e-girl culture.
I actually do give a shit about it. I give a shit about all of
e-girls such as Twitch and TikTok reflect a micro-celebrity ecosystem where the language of realness, or at least believability, is a valued commodity. And that's where we're heading next, because this video would be impossible to talk about.
It is still a lot of money, and he also bought my poster.
Being an e-girl, and that is accessibility.
It's one of two.
Never before have the people that you're obsessed with been so easy to contact.
Proud of it.
But let me say that again from the creator's perspective, because never before has it been so easy for people obsessed with you to contact you.
And you got me.
So yeah, I don't know if I'm beating a dead horse with this one. I'm sure you've heard of parasocial relationships in the past. Just in case you haven't though, it's a buzzword that's just had all life sucked out of it by content vampires, and honestly it drives me a little batty to talk about, but if you look in the news, it doesn't seem as though things are getting any better. Amaranth is perhaps the most famous creator on the receiving end of this, because literally as of like a week ago when I wrote the script for this video, the creep returned. If you don't know her story, to summarize it, she has an Estonian stalker who's flown to Houston, where she lives, multiple times now in an attempt to, like, be with her, I guess. Apparently he obsessively DM'd her asking her why she didn't pick him up at the airport and whatnot, despite the fact that she doesn't even know him. I mean, just strange, creepy thinking. This person clearly needs help and clearly needs a restraining order. And clearly this isn't a one-off kind of deal for people on the internet, especially women. Valkyrie was stalked by a guy who also hopped in a plane to get into contact with her, then obviously Mira, who had her home vandalized by a stalker, Nico, who had her stalker write a 246-page fucking anthology on her and how she led him on, and then also Pokimane, Sweet Anita, and essentially every other large female creator that you can think of. Let me be clear that creepy behaviour is not exclusive to women online, and it's definitely not exclusive to e-girls because everyone gets it. Blokes get it, I've had it before. It generally happens nowhere near as frequently to men, and usually not as severely. And I'd like to think that I'm well versed in talking about this because this topic in particular was a large part of my 2022 documentary Discontent, where I was able to actually get a first-hand account of stalking and harassment from Kiwo, a famous streamer on Twitch. I've criticised a lot of the more negative aspects of e-girl culture so far in this video, and don't worry, I will continue to do so, but I think it's important to remember that at the end of the day, these people are humans too. It's very easy to forget that. And I think it's so important to carry on talking about this because it doesn't look like too much is changing, and I honestly worry that we could be looking at tragedy not too far in the distant future. There is a very real chance of something awful happening if we don't figure out a way to stop this kind of behaviour. I usually don't speak from the heart very often in my videos, but I just wanted to say that. Anyways, on a less depressing note, let's add a little bit of spice into this video and talk about the e-girl group chat leak. So this story became headline news in online spaces, and if you've never heard of it before, strap yourself in, buckle up, because this is going to be one of the wildest stories you hear all week. So we need to take things back to January of this year, literally 5 or 6 weeks ago, because it was then that a Twitter user by the name eGirlfriend, otherwise known as Law, tweeted this, which are a few screenshots of this absolutely rancid group chat between several e-girls who have been named and shamed as Lil Roryvert, Pixel Girlfriend, Swoowookie, Super Etchy, and then this girl here known as Amber, but her handle was at Mimsy. These girls were exposed to the world red-handed, just saying the most spiteful, vindictive, and mean-spirited things to others. They were accused of being fatphobic and also of reportedly using racist language too. Like, there were a lot of N-words apparently being used, and I'm not talking about your nincompoops and nimrods either. These e-girls were exposed for the whole world to see. Their group chat was essentially like the burn book from Mean Girls in that iconic scene, and like, these girls had to do some damage control. They started by deleting some tweets and messages before immediately hopping on another group chat, chatting more shit, and then getting exposed for it again. Like, at that point, it's just game over. Your online career is just in the gutter. Eventually, this all got a bit too much for the girls, who one by one would delete their Twitter accounts. Let it be known too that these weren't just nobodies. A lot of these women had a fair following online, some of them hundreds of thousands of followers. And it just goes to prove the point that we discussed a moment ago, that you really don't know your favorite creators at all, so there's no point in forging a one-sided relationship with them. This normally seems like an incredibly hard thing to come back from, but just as Wang pointed out, I don't think anyone was paying attention to these girls because of their upstanding moral character, so we'll have to wait and see. And I'll have to wait and see what your take on this next story is, because did you know that in the past, people have accused the e-girl community of cultural appropriation?
It's because some of them are stupid.
Yeah, if you weren't aware of this, over the past few years, there have been some people that have criticised the gamer girl and e-girl aesthetic of appropriating different culture styles, particularly Japanese. Now, it's no secret that the e-girl aesthetic is at the very least heavily inspired by Japanese streetwear. It's noted at the very top of the Wikipedia page that aspects of East Asian culture, such as anime and K-pop, are inspirations for the style. But it's obviously not a clear rip-off, because it was also inspired by punk, emo, and skater aesthetics, which are more traditionally Western. Additionally, if we're talking about characters that inspired the movement, many people claim Ramona Flowers and Harley Quinn to be pop culture icons that have their styles drawn from in the aesthetic. So clearly, it's not as black and white as the idea that the e-girl movement has been plainly ripping off from Japanese culture. But this hasn't stopped a number of journalists and writers from creating online articles about it. For example, 2 years ago, Ashley Barden wrote an article titled, "This recent trend among gamers isn't an aesthetic, it's racism." And in this article, she claims that e-girls had come under fire at the time for Asian fishing, which is essentially where white people especially were changing their looks to seem more Asian via the use of makeup. Apparently white girls were using makeup to give themselves more traditionally East Asian facial features. She cited Slightly Kiki, a Korean American TikToker with about 50,000 followers, as a source, and Slightly Kiki admitted that this was neither an important nor a pressing issue for the Asian community, but it fetishized the culture, and it added to an anti-Asian sentiment. It reduced them to what Barden called an overall sexy caricature of what Asians look like. In 2021, this same sentiment was shared by Sid Hoped of the Daily Nexus, the newspaper of the University of California, Santa Barbara, in an article titled, "Your Gamer Girl Aesthetic Has Real Consequences." And it cites a Teen Vogue article to back its point that back in 2021, there was a TikTok trend called the Fox Eye Challenge, whereby participants used makeup to try and allow their eyes to appear more Asian. Now, of course, not every e-girl is taking on the Fox Eye Challenge, but it is a small, perhaps unwelcome part of the e-girl community. And more broadly, our generation, in the West at least, seems very invested in East Asian culture. But whether they care about Asians as much as they claim to might be another story. The author of the Daily Nexus piece writes, "They do not want Asian people around. Instead, they want our food, our clothing, our trends and our aesthetics. But not us. Never us." Which makes me want to ask any and all Asians watching this video, what do you think? Is the e-girl aesthetic and culture appropriation or appreciation? This is a belief held by a small number of people, no doubt, but this opinion does exist. The Huffington Post, for example, had similar concerns. But this might be stemming from a more positive place, that being that East Asian popular culture specifically is becoming way more common in the West. And is culture not meant to be shared and enjoyed? But this might come at a bit of a price too, because throughout my research I found one common thread, a warning in place, and that is the sexualization of Asian culture and how e-girls have infantilized it. And if you don't know the term, it means to treat people as children regardless of their age, and in reference to what we're talking about, to infantilize a look that
Governments
can also
do it, why shouldn't people?
I mean, this is clearly problematic. So let's have an open conversation about society's beauty standards towards women in particular.
It's always been fucked.
Traditionally, they're held to a standard where they're primarily sought after in their 20s. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are still plenty of absolutely stunning women in their 30s and 40s or even 50s who might be considered very beautiful, but generally, if you compare them with the ages of the most sought after men, there's just no contest. I took a look at the Economic Times Sexiest Man Alive for the past 10 years for research purposes, and I found that the average age of their Sexiest Man Alive was 40.3. In comparison, in Esquire's Sexiest Woman Alive, the average age of the winner was 30.3. Or you can take Elizabeth Brutch's 2018 study of online dating, where she found that while a woman's desirability on dating apps consistently dropped from the time she's 18 until the time she's 60, a man's desirability, on the other hand, actually increases with age, peaking at about 50 before dropping off. This study also covered both sexes' preference in ethnicity and education level, so pause if you want to have a look at it. But relating this back to e-girls, even their name, e-girls, could be considered infantilizing. Obviously, you have e-boys on the flip side, so it's not exclusively a female issue, but the underlying theme here is that youth is at the center of beauty standards. Clearly, there are biological factors for this that we just can't escape. Youth is peak fertility, youth is peak strength and physicality, but is this aesthetic going too far? The Daily Nexus article writes, "These gamer girls take to Twitch and actively stream in this Asian fishing makeup, often dressing in infantile clothing and acting in a submissive demeanor that reinforces the concept of Asian women as subservient, childish, and dainty."
Or maybe they just like the style and went, you know what, I like this.
It's strange that this hasn't been spoken more about. But there is also a flip side of the argument, and there are 2 points I want to bring up here. Firstly, e-girls are not the first generation of women to be infantilized. Since the dawn of media, and even prior to it, it's happened over and over. It happened to Britney Spears 20 years ago, Marilyn Monroe 70 years ago, and I'm sure to many more before then. But secondly, there's the idea that this sort of aesthetic is only sexualized if you think it is. There have been a few e-girls who say that their method of dress is merely self-expression, and so if you're sexualizing them, that's on you, not them. Blaming women for how they dress has never been a good argument in many people's minds. Just because you dress a certain way doesn't necessarily mean anything, it might just mean that you like the clothes. I, for example, have always taken large inspiration from the rocker and greaser aesthetic in my style. I just think it's cool and it's just that. that. It doesn't mean I want to be living in the 50s, and it doesn't mean I want to be sexualized, regardless of leather jackets being damn sexy. I don't know, what do you guys think? I wanted to open up this dialogue, and I really hope that this video has made you think a bit differently about the e-girl subculture and aesthetic. And if it did, and you enjoyed it, why not check out the darkest depths of the ASMR community? It's a great video, I'm sure you'll love it. Aside from that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.
I'm gonna subscribe to this guy's channel. His videos are interesting. I really found the 2 videos of his quite interesting. But yeah. It is time with the timeliness to do, regretfully, the raid. So who are we raiding today, guys? Who's it gonna be? I just wanna see who's it gonna be. Who we gonna raid? Oh, pardon me, sorry for bumping into the microphone. Who we gonna raid today? Pardon me again. Pardon me, pardon me. Who we gonna raid? It's only that to say. Who we gonna raid today? I'm switching my category to art because, let's face it, I've been doing it, so it counts. And that way I'm not always just coming from a thingy. So, who should we raid, guys? Zero, do you have any ideas? Ooh. Giving him a little screechy screech. Good choice. Who should we raid? Who's the wolf? I think it might be nice to raid someone new, but I don't know who. Who we gonna raid? Who they look? Well, if there's someone there doing a subathon, we could do them. Oh, she's cute. Oh, sorry, the one there with the knife. She's quite cute. Or maybe we should raid a flesh tuber. Yeah, let's raid him. He does lots of things with VTubers. See you on the night of the dynamite, Scotchy official. Yes, very much so. You guys are awesome, and I really do appreciate your company.
Oh, okay, then I'll just leave more often. That's why. We can. Okay,
that what you
understand?
said
There we go.
So let's get this raid message underway, shall we?
No.
Fire.
I don't know what you're talking about.
P-Y-R-U-S-S-Y because I'm sassy. Sassy.
You're being a weirdo, Evan. Hi, Evan. You're being a little weirdo.
How about I be weird?
You're being a little quirky. I mean, it's a little weird. Oh my god, I remember this guy.
You got my boy.
I want to point out that this, the first tip.
What are they doing?
Is that he's German.
Hear me out.
These aren't all red flags.
Toxic
Some
anime
are
men.
facts.
Okay, hear me out.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
Hear me out.
Most of you aren't subbed anymore, are you?
The first point kind of losing me there. The fourth point kind of losing me there. You know?
So let's put
The only
on
thing
here.
that gets you is the fact that
And
he's
about to
German and he
boob, just in
can't
case.
cook. Those are the
If you can't do it, it's fine. You can bounce boob another time. Actually, no. We'll get rid of the bounce boob.
So, wait, I mean, I know how to cook naturally.
But do
Here
you
is
have,
the right message,
you have
guys.
this point, Evan?
So dick piercings are.
I hope you guys will
Like, that's a
copy
good
and
thing?
paste it into his chat when we get there.
Hey Siri, how much is a dick piercing? Well, I was.
Wow, that's not something I expected to hear, but I should have, considering who it is.
Well, chat, I was just asking a question.
It was just a
You can move
curiosity.
on.
It's just curiosity. Come on.
Naturally.
Just out of curiosity. We also got Ayato from Diabolic Lovers.
Oh my god, okay. Listen, I have some
likes
PTSD
basketball.
for Diabolic Lovers. I got some PTSD.
Okay, let's get the raid underway. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really
Look,
hope
if there was
that
no one else,
you
I'd be like,
guys have a good
Alright,
night,
but like, who's
day,
your
or
favorite
whatever it may
Diabolic
be.
boy?
The normal
and I'll
one.
see you guys on Friday.
None of them are normal.
Exactly.
You guys are awesome. Never forget that.
I think
Seriously, you guys make my day so much
Nowhere
better.
near this down.